All right, now we're actually back. As soon as we started to show up, all the Skype videos killed themselves, and everything is now screwed up. It looks like this is just my luck here. We'll fix that right now. Bam. All right. So our first epic episode with the new assets. Skype failure immediately. On that note, welcome to Town Hall episode number 26. We have our new, I almost had a website, but our new show revamp. New logo created by, my good friend Christian Martinez, aka MLG Rab. And tonight we're going to be talking about, well, actually a ton of stuff. There's a lot of new esports news. We're talking about the 3 new heroes that are going to be playable at PAX Prime in just a couple weeks. We're going to be doing just a quick overview of the straw poll that Kevin made based on the 5 maps that are around. What are your 3 favorites? Coobys Questions is coming back for sure, because we're doing it in the middle of the show rather than at the end of the show. We're doing a Rhaegar deep dive. We got Ace of Spades coming on to talk about My Insanity and their new site.
Ace of Spades! Sorry.
Versusphere. And we have a massive article that CSC put out, getting input about esports from a lot of different top players in the world right now. And we'll be taking a look at that. But on that note, Kooby, the man to my right, a new overlay. What's up, man?
Not too much, not too much. Been trying to soak up all the, just a ton of esports stuff coming up for this game, like all at once in the last week. It's been like crazy trying to keep up with all of it. Really exciting stuff. And other than that, I've just been playing tons of heroes. We did some casting stuff yesterday. That was fun. And playing Street Fighter 2 as always. But yeah, that's it for me.
Kevo, what is up in the realm? The pre-show you said you got burned at the beach a little bit.
Oh man, as I was saying at the pre-show, I have a giant red F on my one shoulder that just shows that I failed to go outside for the weekend. Yeah, I did that, but around that Friday night, I was scrimmaging with Arthalon's team, Team Symbiote, or Dreadnought's team. I forget who's captain.
I thought you were gonna say Team Simba. I was like, sign me up.
Team Simba.
It is Dread. That's good.
And then Saturday played a whole bunch of the solo queue scrims that came out with the Versusphere competitive thing. So that was really cool. So I got a lot of competitive play in this weekend. I feel like I have like a whole entire new perspective into how this game actually kind of feels at that level. And then Sunday just kind of hung around.
Awesome stuff, Jared. You look like you're focusing on something. What's up, man?
I was reading chat. I love reading chat.
He's trying to figure out how to up his shotgun game.
Yeah, my shot game. I went shooting a shotgun.
Looking at tips.
And yeah, it went pretty bad. I'm not good with shotguns.
Point the gun away from me.
Yeah, it was not a fun weekend. Plus, I had to go outside and do stuff no.
So for anyone,
tell me about it. Going outside, way overrated.
For anyone that doesn't know, Jared is from Texas, so he's supposed to be able to shoot a gun properly. It's just kind of part of being a Texan. And no, 14 out of 100 targets. You said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said with this.
Okay. Yeah. It was shooting the little clay disc things. So they're flying. Skeet shooting. Yes. So it wasn't like I was blindly shoooting at some target on the wall. No, they were moving targets, but I'm still pretty embarrassed. I don't know if I'm gonna should announce this now or later, but I'm gonna go ahead and announce it. I'll be casting the Diamond's new league. I'll be casting it Monday with Caldor. And they announced 2 new teams as well, Nick's team and then Team Clairvoyant. So there's 8 awesome teams in that league.
Very cool.
And I'm pretty hyped about it. It's going to be a lot of good teams. And then I know Idra's also casting in the league Wednesday as well. And it's going to be, there's so much stuff going on with Heroes right now, man. I'm super hyped about it.
Like you said, there's a ton of esports going on in general. We have multiple leagues that are just starting up. We have all these team pickups. There's a ton of them. We're going to be interviewing Ace of Spades, who's now on My Insanity tonight. Curse got picked up over the last week. We have My Insanity and we have Team Empire. Those are the 3 big, esports organizations that have gotten involved with the game. Now there are many other names like Symbiote Gaming and I think Glorious Gaming is ZP's team, but they're not necessarily big name organizations. But it's just cool to see more organizations getting involved. It'd be good to see if we see EG and Liquid. I'm sure those teams will get, established eventually, but it'll be interesting to see how long that takes because Curse is I know Curse specifically has always been an early adopter. They had an Infinite Crisis team really early on. So yeah, it's just really cool to see esports blowing up this quick. We don't even have custom games yet. Like, we don't have customs, we don't have a spectator client, we don't have anything, but yet leagues are popping up because people are that hungry for the competition. So
it's something I'm a bit curious about, because I just feel like if I was personally on a team, I wouldn't sign with anyone just yet. I mean, there's no real competition. You don't know, at least until BlizzCon, why sign with a team? Because you don't know, like, what offers could potentially come. There's no...
Yeah,
you don't know if you're the best right now.
You got to think about, it's...
I'm just kind of...
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the biggest problems with esports in general, and I can talk smack about them now that they're defunct, but when I signed with Quantic, because, I had my big stint of casting that happened for me in StarCraft 2, and Quantic approached me first, and they were just like, hey, we'll sign you, do all these things for you, and then it was like, I was just like, oh, first offer, yes, go for it. And then I realized, like, 5 seconds later, it's like, oh, that was really not a good decision, because I didn't really get to, like, see anybody else or anything like that.
Right.
So it is one of those things you have to keep in mind, is like, is the first offer going to be your best? Probably not. So you should actually probably wait a little bit.
But at the same time, you could argue...
At the same time, yeah, early adopters, though.
Right. I mean, get your name out there quick and early, and maybe that's your best bet.
And I doubt any of these teams are under serious contracts. I doubt they're like one-year contracts. None of them are getting salaries. There's no way. I mean, it's way too early, but I would personally prefer to keep my name a little open until money starts flooding into the scene, at least.
Right, and we don't.
You want to join Team Sham2? Sham2 Soya? It's a good team.
That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
It's not necessarily it's not necessarily fair to say that no one's getting salaries. I mean, people might be getting small amounts of compensation. They might be getting a couple $100 a month, something small, but they're not making a living off the game. That's pretty safe to say. I mean, there's no reason to. There's no tournaments. There's no return on investment for these teams other than the early adoption of having their brand in the community early.
That is true.
But on that note, let's actually transition to our first topic of the day, which is, in fact, PAX Prime. It's coming up in a couple weeks now. PAX East is where we had the announcement for Lili, Brightwing, Zagara, and Murky. Now, those 4 heroes are the last 4 heroes to come out, excluding Rhaegar. In their announcement, we got 2 pretty early. It was both. We had Murky. No. We had Lili and Brightwing playable at PAX.
Yeah.
And then they came out staggered weeks. And then eventually we got Murky, and then Zagara came last. Now, they also showed off 3 more heroes at PAX East. They showed off Kael Thas. They showed off Sylvanas. And they showed off Chen Stormstout. Now, Blizzard has come out, and they have announced that they will be releasing 3 new heroes at PAX East, and they'll be playable. You can say come and play the brand new demo with 3 exciting new heroes. Now, out of all of this, it's the only relevant line to read, that if, for someone that's interested in hero stuff, there's some stuff about their other games, but they said 3 new heroes will be playable. And again, our background likes to screw up. I don't really know why it's doing that, but right now we have no background. So we're gonna switch back over to Heroes Nexus, where they're showcasing those 3 other heroes that they showed us at PAX East. They showed us Kael Thas, Chen, and Sylvanas, and we have 3 new heroes at PAX Prime that are supposed to be playable. It's pretty likely it's these 3.
It is pretty likely, but we also saw many stills of Anu Barak showing up. And
he's like the hero that they're gonna toy with us. Like, he was on the poster, right? He was like
he was on the poster.
He's just the guy like he's almost ready,
yeah.
guys, almost ready. Trust us, and then it just never comes out. But we always think
he was in the Rhaegar video.
Right?
He was in.
Yeah, he's here. He was in multiple videos. He was in the Rhaegar video.
Yeah, he's been the Zagara one.
The Zagara video.
He's been so many.
He's all over the place, but yet, out of all of the poster, the original poster, out of all of the heroes,
you're showing chat.
Oh my gosh, why is it doing that? The
Kappas.
I thought I fixed it, but sorry about that. Yeah, out of all the heroes, I'm looking at the poster. We don't have Chen, Sylvanas, or Anu Barak, and they're all next to each other. So honestly, if you're basing this off the poster, they're the only 3 that are on the poster that we don't have yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they make sense, but at the same time, who knows? I mean, Kael Thas could definitely be it, but I actually think we will see Anu Barak before Kael Thas, because we have never seen Kael Thas in a video. ever.
Well,
or
that's
Rhaegar,
true.
or Sylvanas.
I mean, there's no way to like unless Blizzard says this guy is coming out in a week. There's no way to predict because like if we look back at
Rhaegar.
the first PAX, Zagara
Yeah, Rhaegar came out.
had actual in-game footage of her.
Yeah.
They actually played a game with Zagara. Like there was like a little small clip of Murky, and Murky came out like a month before Zagara did. Like, there's no like we want to hope it's those three, but I mean it could be three random heroes. It's just whenever they're done, they show up.
They're
There's
doing
no way
a
to
very
predict
good
it.
job of keeping us on our toes for that.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
It's very
'Cause
true.
Rhaegar really came out of nowhere. They're just like, oh, yeah, look at this silhouette. And then a week later, he was in the game. We're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, this
We
nice.
had no hype for him at all.
I
Yeah, it's
spoke
just like,
with
he's
someone
here.
at Blizzard, and they basically said there's like several groups of people working in heroes, and it's just like whoever finishes first is how it ends up
Yep.
working out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Nick was asking about the poster. Again, this is like a little handout you could get at BlizzCon that have all the various heroes, and you can see that's the poster. It's also on my wall over there, a little bit bigger version, but yeah, I mean, those are the three that I'm expecting to see. We have not seen even an ounce of Kael'thas. We saw Chen at China Joy, and you know that's a convention over in China, and they showed all of his abilities and all that good stuff. So I think Chen is pretty much the one that's guaranteed.
Yeah.
If Jaina shows up, I'm gonna cry. Like I'm gonna be so happy. I
We've
just
seen
want
her.
to be like-
We've seen her in the game.
I just want to see Jaina, man. I just want like if she shows up
then
early,
again,
I'm gonna like literally cry.
It was like the Warcraft 3 model Jaina. It was like really low polygon and everything, and all of her abilities didn't look really too refined. I mean, Sylvanas, we had the data mine that came out from Heroes Nexus a while ago, I think. It was a pretty old one.
There was like 30 heroes in that data mine though. Like,
yeah.
Ragnaros had some stuff there.
Well,
and
but they had like the
Vol'jin.
full skill set for Sylvanas. I don't know if it was a fake or not, but it was posted on Reddit a couple days ago.
Oh, that was
Who
fake.
knows
That was
what that's
100%
actually going to happen? Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's really all up in the air, but I'm just super stoked. I like originally thought I was going to be going to the event, but I'm no longer going to PAX East. I'm sad, but Sia Steve will be there, and I'm just going to be hounding him for information the entire time that he's at PAX Prime, rather. I think it's at PAX East, but I know Steve's going, so or Matt's his real name, believe it or not.
I know Trick Slayer's going as well. I don't know about the other CMs though.
Yeah, Trick will be working. He cast it at PAX East, so I assume he'll be doing the same.
I hope so.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just stoked to see what we get, and it's nice because if you look at the character select screen on Heroes, I mean, this is kind of fluff, but I mean, when they add one more hero, it's on a new page. So it's nice to have 3 heroes added if they add them at once. But at the same time, they've never added more than one hero like simultaneously. So I think they'll probably stagger them.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I'm hoping they're gonna just like come out of like left field and release
like 10
I don't know,
heroes.
something like Deckard Cain, who happens to be like the Slim Jim Randy Savage. Oh, yeah, Haradra, brother.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of did that with Rhaegar, but Rhaegar's not like a mainstay Blizzard hero. Like he's not someone everyone knows. So like if they did that with someone like a Thrall, that would be just the coolest thing.
Yeah.
But just out of nowhere, Thrall's in the
There's
game.
so many big heroes like Thrall, like Garrosh, like Jaina that we don't have in the game yet, and I feel like they're gonna have like maybe they're gonna launch like big Warcraft heroes with the new Warcraft expansion and stuff because there's so much like cross game like promotion they can do with their other titles, and I feel like it's like, okay, Warlords of Draenor's out, now you can play as some of those Warlords of Draenor in Heroes of the Storm. Which would just make a lot of sense for them to do. But that being said, I think we can move on to our next topic rather than because we could talk about new heroes for like 2 hours.
I mean,
and I gotta
we
cut us
talked
off.
about it for like 4 episodes.
We
I
did.
don't know if you remember that, the very first 4 episodes of Town Hall.
Yeah,
So
actually,
watch those episodes if you're interested in like hero theory and
seriously, we
discussion.
actually did some really unique like hero proposals where we thought about the various abilities that the heroes might have in the game. So if you actually go back into youtube.com/solidjigg and check the VODs, the early first 4, 5, 6 episodes, it's pretty interesting. But moving on, Kev put out a pretty interesting straw poll this week saying, out of the 5 maps that exist on the ladder, choose 3 you'd prefer for a map pool. 3 only, please.
Now, this was a really interesting thing that happened, because I was just trying to derail one Skype chat that happened to be stuck on a topic, just one of the competitive Skype chats. And I actually, I was just like, name 3 maps you'd have in a map pool. And actually, I was like, that's actually a pretty good question. And I started, putting it around, and a lot of people were answering it. We had everybody got, because everybody can see the results, a really good response out of it, I thought.
Can you link it in chat?
Yeah, I'll link it in chat right now. Here's the actual straw poll. And basically what it is if you were to choose a 3-map pool, so basically like if it was a tournament, or say you were about to queue into ranked ladder, like basically what 3 maps would you like to see in your map choices? And I got 1,300 responses, and it's going up now that I actually posted it in chat too, which is a crap ton of people who've responded. And of course, the most interesting thing out of all of this is that Garden of Terror, the newest map, sits at the very, very bottom with only 9% vote.
Is that really the most interesting thing? Because
I was about to say the same thing.
I mean, okay, so let me put it this way. I expected that. I personally really don't like Garden of Terror. I know a lot of people who don't like Garden of Terror. It came out to be... It just wasn't well received. I don't think it was a really well fixed map, and they just released a patch today. It didn't really seem to fix, I think, a lot of the problems with Garden of Terror, but it got destroyed. In fact, I'm actually kind of surprised there's any votes for it at all, but it got destroyed at this poll.
It really did, and like you said, we actually do have a very, very minor patch. Before we take a look back at the straw poll, let's actually just take a look at this new patch where, like you said, there are a few minor changes to Garden of Terror.
Rip dibbles.
Rip dibbles. Garden of Terror mercenary camps can now be captured at night. One of the biggest complaints about the game is a lot of the times it seemed like people were actually cleaning up the plant monsters in order to make the mercenaries come back, because mercenaries disappeared at night, so that is no longer the case. The Guard Terror has reduced health. The Spore Queen's Curse, they made some changes to it where the travel time is reduced, so it's a lot easier to hit people with it, and the explosion delay is reduced from 1.5 to 1 second. So the polymorph essentially is now a little bit better, and it was so like ridiculously easy to avoid, and now it might have a little bit more potential.
It's a step in the right direction, but
it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
and a really interesting thing that happened. Sorry to interrupt. A really interesting that happens on Garden of Terror is that if you're taking a jungle camp, sorry, I have ice in my. If you're taking a jungle camp while things are going away, you can see which jungle camp they're currently at.
Yeah.
Which is just a terrible feature.
I think that's the same case in Dragonshire.
It is, but in Dragonshire, you're a little bit more protected. Like, they're kind of like on your side of the map. They're behind your forts and everything. In Garden of Terror, you're not at all. You're out, and you're kind of out there, and it's really easy to get to those places, especially if you're in the middle of the map. So I don't know why they put why you can still see that. And I found it very easy just to go over and just gank them while they're still finishing up those camps, or while they just finished up that camp. I don't know. The map, there's a lot of problems with that map.
Yeah, it needs work.
And I don't think this fixed everything.
It's a neat idea for a map, but they got some tweaking to do for sure.
It's not a neat idea. They merged 2 existing map concepts into one. It's kind of like the most boring new map they could have possibly added to the game.
You know, Jay, I'm trying to be PC here. Okay, just give it a chance.
Maybe we shouldn't be PC. Like, honestly,
you're right.
I hate the map. I dread playing on it. I think it's just like it's not interesting. I'd rather play Haunted Mines, which I'd never thought I'd say, and it's just like it's long, drawn out. Every time you play in a pub game, people run around like a chicken with their head cut off. They just don't know what they're doing. They don't seem to understand the core concept of the objective. And honestly, it's like the one map where getting the objective doesn't really feel that beneficial. Like,
nobody wants to get it.
Right.
Not even pubs.
Right.
Pubs don't even want to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it turns into just like teams roaming around as 5 trying to gank, and it's just like I can't imagine trying to cast a game on that map because it sounds awful. It just sounds... Actually, we tried it. Rather than trying to say that, Corey and I did our new show. We have a new show called Duo Queue. And basically, we queue up together and we cast a game live while we play. And we had 2 games in a row in Haunted Mines, and it was atrocious. It was just like, I can't tell you what's supposed to be happening because...
Haunted Mines or Garden of Terror?
Garden of Terror. I'm sorry. Garden of Terror. And it was just absolutely atrocious. And I hate the map. I want it to die. I want it to burn in a burny Garden of Hell.
/rant.
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't laughing at Jake. I was laughing at Matt. Sorry.
My last free week was a 37-minute long game of me playing Witch Doctor. It just... It just was not good. The map. Oh yeah, we just played a game. It lasted another like 30 minutes, and we were losing terribly. I was like, because I'm not gonna say what hero I was playing, but I am not good at that hero, and yeah, it was just not a fun time.
Can we at least know what letter it starts with?
Starts with a go to hell.
Oh. All right, I tried, guys. I tried.
Fair
That's enough of a hint.
Well, just briefly going over the other new changes in this patch. Looks like they nerfed Strafe a little bit. This was just posted a few hours ago.
Strafe was so incredibly strong.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter, especially if you had like a double like an Abathur with a.
Oh gosh, forget about it.
You cloned Vala. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess we lost. So I'm glad that they did that.
We'll have to play with it a bit because the Hyperion got a very similar change where they spread out its attacks over everyone in the radius, and then Hyperion went from really good to really bad. Until it's played with, we don't know how impactful it's going to be.
That was my first thought.
I
don't know how that interaction is going to be, so we'll have to see.
It's probably still good.
That's only the level 21, though, right?
No,
that they changed for. Oh, they changed.
Deals damage more evenly among targets within its search.
Are you talking about the Hyperion?
Okay.
No,
we're talking about the Strafe. Oh, okay. Sorry, I misread that.
I mean,
there is a
should
change
still
for
be
vengeance
pretty
as well.
good, but we don't know for sure because when we all first saw that Hyperion change, we're like, oh, okay, he'll be still pretty good, and then he was like the worst hero in game for a while. Now he's
Banshees.
For some short time.
Well, we knew this was coming. The fireballs from Diablo's Firestorm talent has been changed. It is no longer.
This is the stupidest freaking change ever made in any game it's ever.
Oh my god! You see how it's in the bug section?
But it's actually true. It's actually kind of banned in competitive play to use the Firestorm thing. So I'm actually really glad I can go back to playing my hero without being people like, oh, you played a broken hero, or people yelling at me, oh, you don't pick the broken talent. I just want to play Diablo. I don't want an ethical debate about whether or not
you're ruining the game for other people. You're basically murky of patch whatever. Okay.
Thanks, Kev.
Thanks, Kev.
Are you still gonna take that talent?
Firestorm? No. I always took Continuous Overpower until Firestorm came out. Then I took it just and then I got
Continuous Overpower is the 2 charges of the flip.
Yeah, 2 charges on.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Flip City.
Flip City. Yeah. So I'm glad they fixed it. I think there could have been a couple of ways they should have been able to fix it without making it too strong. Because one of the things that I really liked, and it was actually kind of part of Steve's questions, was high skill combos. And it doesn't take a ton of skill to do it, but doing a Q, a W, and then an E, using all of your cooldowns at once, you should have been rewarded with doing just a little bit more damage, and they took that away. I think if it was like 50% and all the fireballs actually hit, back to kind of how it was before, but it didn't actually work the way it does now, or it did. I think that would have been a cool thing to do, but oh well.
Well, how he says it wasn't a super skilled combo. No, no, it wasn't.
No,
Ken.
it wasn't.
No, I mean,
pretty baseball.
I mean, like being able to do the it's actually kind of funny. I didn't actually think that a lot of people had a lot of problems with this, but doing the QE combo is actually hard for some people. They don't understand you have to buffer the E while you're in the middle of doing your shadow charge. So a lot of people actually can't do it, and it does come down to a little bit of timing. And then getting your W so that all the fireballs hit at the right time is actually another really kind of difficult timing to master. The difference between either one-shotting somebody completely or just taking out 3/4 of their health when Firestorm was completely broken. So I think it was
dark days. Dark days behind us now. Okay.
Well, the other note, there was a few other bug fixes, not big deals. The bribe on the little plant terrors. And or the plant horrors, flowering shamblers and plant horrors on the Garden of Terror can no longer be bribed. I actually didn't know that was a thing. I'll be honest, because I never get bribed, but glad that's fixed. And the shop, we have the new Frostworm Arthas skin and Big Top Gazlo.
Yes.
Honestly, Frostworm Arthas is amazing.
Yeah, it looks good.
I think it's one of the coolest skins. And Gazlo needed a skin. He didn't have a single other skin in the game, so Big Top Gazlo it's terrifying, and I hope I never have to fight against it because I hate it. But it's cool that he has a new skin.
Yeah, I like that one.
Gazlo skin terrifies me.
It's very, very
terrifying.
scary.
It's terrifying. No other way to put it, but I mean, real quick, just tiny patch, nice little updates here and there, little quick fixes, and nice to see them just kind of tweaking Garden of Terror, trying to make it a little bit more less painful, I suppose. I don't think it'll necessarily increase the game speed at all, or like the reduce the game time on that map, because again, the games just run so long. I hate 40-minute games, and I get so many 40-minute Garden of Terror games.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, Zoya and I just played it post-patch, and it was still like a 30-minute game, even though we were losing, so...
Absolutely, yeah, so... What can you do? Well, on that note, let's take a final look at the straw poll. We can see it's got a 1363 votes. It's quite a few votes for a straw poll on a game that's still in alpha, and we can see that Dragonshire is the favorite. I would agree that it is my favorite map to play on by a very large margin, actually.
It's amazing how that's changed, because that used to be like one of the most boring maps,
It's
and now
so fun. It's such a good map.
It's definitely one of the better maps, for sure. It's my favorite right now, too. And I
like Blackhearts, actually, as my favorite. But...
okay. And Cursed Hollow at number 2 and Blackhearts at number 3. I'd say Blackhearts is my second favorite, and I'd put Cursed Hollow at number 3. Where'd you guys rank them at? You said Blackhearts for number 1 for you, Kev?
Yeah, Blackhearts, Dragonshire, Cursed Hollow.
Coobs?
I think I had Dragonshire, Cursed, and Haunted Mines.
And Jared?
Same with you, Jake. Dragonshire, Blackheart, Curse. I mean, this list is not very surprising. It's
not really at all. I mean, and hopefully, like, after I posted it to Reddit, I was kind of like, I wonder if Blizzard really wanted to ask this question, but they didn't have a PR way to do it. Like, how shitty are our maps? Oh.
Damn. Well, the chat is asking for Coobys Kitty. Well, I can't summon Coobys Kitty. I can summon Coobys Question.
Coobys Questions!
and you know what? We actually have plans to make a really glorious new Coobys Question graphic for the show. But again, our new show graphics are in beta, so I apologize for the lack of the rainbow text. And so Coobie, the floor is yours.
You know what?
I appreciate
that. I appreciate the fans waiting for so long. It's been like a month and a half since we've had Coobys Questions. Everyone else is just like, no, just push it out next week. Next week, we'll do it next week. You know what? That was like 2 months ago, but we're back. We're back, guys. We got Coobys Questions. This week is kind of like a rapid-fire Coobys Question. I don't know if you guys are ready. So we're going to just do as many of these as we feel like doing. And I guess I'll call it off whenever I feel we've sufficiently discussed the topic. But basically, and this is more relevant than ever now, especially because of the artifact system that's just been removed. But we have some talents in the game that I would call universal talents. Whatever, there's no real name for them. But there's they actually added a few recently too. But there's a bunch that are just useless or really, really close to useless. So I'm just going to throw some of these at you, and I put them in an order that I feel are probably in which are least used, and then we'll go down and you'll see that as we get to the bottom of the list, there are probably some that are more used. But I basically want to throw them at you, and I want to get you guys' opinion on how we can see more of these universal talents used in competitive play, in solo queue, whatever you guys are feeling. So I'll throw it out. Whoever wants to jump in, go for it. But the first one is promote. For those of you guys who don't know, it's a minion gets 200% health and 100% damage. I think maybe there's some charges to it, but that is a notoriously terrible talent. So now, what can we do to fix this?
Now, I'm pretty positive that you cannot use this on friendly things like an Ultralisk or a Hydralisk or a Roachlings. Am I correct in saying that you cannot do that?
Pretty sure, yes.
Make it so you can do that, because if I could grab that and I could promote Hydras on Zagara, that would be probably overpowered, but that sounds awesome.
Well, are we doing like changes we should make to them to make them viable? Or
how do we make it work? How do we make it a talent that would grab?
No one uses this right now. No one uses this talent.
Right.
Well, okay. Let's go over this first. Why is it useless?
It's just not as I've tried so many games like on Abathur and trying to make it work. It's just not that impactful. Like the promoted minion is still easy to kill. It's maybe if you could promote an entire wave and then like it had a longer cooldown, you could push it harder with it. But just promoting one minion when you can't check to see the stats on how much more damage that one soldier is doing promoted, or the wizard's doing promoted, or the archers are doing promoted. Like, it's just so useless. It's just so bad.
So useless, just like Jared on this show.
Oh my god!
I kid.
I think that was a pretty good answer, actually.
No, that's actually a really good answer. I mean, it's Jared. I love you.
Excuse the random gameplay. I have to check Skype. Continue. Kev, what's your thoughts?
Production.
I think the biggest problem with promote is that it's as Jared says. If you could promote a whole wave, that'd be really cool. Or if it was like an aura around you, kind of like Banner of Command from League of Legends, that you basically just promote whatever minions are around you. Or if it was on a longer cooldown and you could promote like just one jungle minion, like spend 2 charges to promote a jungle minion, or which, I mean, kind of counteracts Mercenary Lord. You wouldn't need it. Or yeah, just be able to use it on heroes that have minions that spawn, like Abathur's Locust, which would be really strong on Locust. Of course, you'd have to give it a little bit of balancing if you were to do that, or Hydras, etc. I think that'd be really useful. But in terms of right now, it's useless because, I mean, if you put it on the guys in the front, the guys with the sword, the minions in the front, they die quickly. If you put it on the archers in the back, they just tickle a little bit more. And if you put it on the mage, then you've just done absolutely nothing, and everybody cries. So,
I think promote would work like really well. Like, if you could promote Witch Doctor's Gargantuan, I think that would be a cool mechanic that would make promote a little better.
Like Jake was saying.
Ultras like that.
Yeah, but balancing it at that point gets really difficult because it's, you know, that could be way too strong. Honestly, I think originally, I could be wrong, but I think you could do that initially. Like in the original alpha, I think you could actually do that. And I think they took that away. So, again, I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't see like the need of the ability though. It seems kind of like a weird thing that shouldn't even exist.
Okay, that actually segues into my next follow-up question, which is, what do you guys think was Blizzard's original intent when they added this like, talent in?
Probably backdooring and like additional split pushing. It's really like intended for additional split pushing. But there's just so many other talents that are like more universal and just more useful.
And the split pushing is just bad in general right now. It's not, the game is designed around objective base and team fighting, and split pushing just kind of like says no to that, and that's not what the game's designed to do. So it just doesn't fit the flow of the game at all.
Right. It's such a like you said, objective and team fight oriented game. Where you want, I mean, there are other talents that will like assist you in pushing if you're trying to be a Zagara or a siege tank that's trying to split push for, you know, a 15-second time frame where you're just trying to whittle down their towers. That's not really a full split push, but it's not like you want to promote because you're committing a full talent towards a mechanic that you're going to be utilizing maybe 15% of the game. Like, I don't know, you just would never get it.
Yeah. It's got such a long cooldown, and split pushing, as everybody said, is just completely, at least in the current competitive meta that exists right now, and I'm going to say competitive tentatively because, I mean, of the competitive teams that work, that exist, it's just promote just doesn't really do anything. It doesn't do enough, and talents on every single level that promote is also on are completely better. There's way better. Do way more.
Absolutely.
Do more damage. And more damage is more siege damage, and that's all promote would be doing anyways, just siege damage.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. The original intention probably was split pushing, but it's just something that hasn't panned out in the game, and with the current maps that we have, just doesn't fit in the game.
And again, it's alpha, so you know, placeholder talents, maybe.
Absolutely,
things like that.
And we've seen them remove and add new talents to the game, like a lot lately. And,
I mean, as soon as I pulled out artifacts, talents have been getting a lot more attention. People have been saying, you know, how much more effort. I mean, obviously they should be putting a ton of their effort into balancing talents, but people are starting to look more at these obscure talents and why are they here, etc. So, all right, I like that. That was a good answer. Next one, superiority. Do you guys know what that is? Do you guys even know what superiority is?
I know what that is.
Who knows what it is?
Non-hero damage is reduced by 50%. And
non-hero damage?
Non-hero damage
all right.
is reduced by 50%.
Nice job, Kenneth.
I know because I took it very recently.
Accidentally.
No, it wasn't an
Really?
accident.
Okay,
I
no,
was talent gated, and I said, you know
Oh,
what? I have
my
two
God.
choices. It was superiority, and I forget what the other one was. I even forget who I was playing, but I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna go with superiority. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. I think it was Stitches. Stitches. Like,
Okay.
my Stitches bugged when it was the progression things moved over, and for some reason it just reduced me back to level 1 again. So I took superiority, and I just tried so hard to make it do anything, but I was pushing lanes, and like, your Stitches, you don't take damage anyway. It's a really strong talent. I feel like it's a really strong talent. But again, I think it comes down to the fact that with no split pushing, you don't incur a lot of non-hero damage very often.
Yeah.
You know? Like, there's not many, there's not a ton of times when you're not really incurring like a lot of non-hero damage. So I feel like if you were able to split push in this game, then it would work. But since you can't split push in this game, it doesn't work.
I just want to have a moment of silence for our background. There we go, it loaded.
Woo!
Classic.
Sorry.
Tech Alpha backgrounds.
Yeah.
All right, Jared, go ahead.
That talent would be much better in like other MOBAs where attacking other heroes draws a minion aggro, or attacking heroes under tower will force a tower to attack you. That's a situation where that talent would be a lot more valuable, but in the current state of things, like, it's really not that big of a deal. I guess if you're on, I mean, Nick pointed out in chat, jungler like Gazlo, I could see that having, you know, its only use then, but even then, it's still like,
Yeah.
That's like some Robo-Goblin stuff right there.
I mean, I can see it being a really great talent if you're jungling all the time, but even then it's kind of hard, and...
once you get to late game, you're not even taking that much damage from jungle camp, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you get this talent to help you early at game, and then it falls off hard.
If you're Gazlo, man, you're giving up... That's the same talent as Promote.
Oh my God.
Wow, he's got a real top tier right there. That's pretty good. That's really good.
Talent. I really don't know what people picked for Gazlo. I picked Reduce, Reuse, Recycle, which is you get 15% scrap.
Yes,
from
I could as well, but
yeah. Anyway, I don't know.
Kevin, it sounds like you've been playing a bit of Gazlo. What's up with that?
Maybe we should have a free week of Gazlo. Maybe people should vote for his Gazlo.
You walked into this one.
I'm just gonna leave Town Hall now.
the boss of Ratchet is not in this call.
I love. I'm sorry, just to interject real quick because we're talking about Gazlo. I love the fact that he's got like this Long Island like voice. Just I know what you're talking about.
Did you watch the voice actor video? That was awesome.
Yeah, and
Just like
building the Nexus video they made, it was really good, really
was
enjoyable. Yeah.
All right, so do we feel like it's sort of the way the game is mechanically working right now that makes this talent bad, or
It's just like everything is so team fight and objective oriented in the game that these Coobys Kitty has spawned for Coobys Questions. This is glorious. Can't do it. But yeah, it's just a matter of like you said, it's the game design just doesn't really promote these things. Now, Nick is a very, very active player who plays Gazlo, and he's saying that you can grab superiority for merking with Gazlo and stuff like that, and I can see that being a use. And maybe that is a good choice, but like it's a very limited thing, and it's not a problem that you have like a talent that exists for junglers to make them more viable in the jungle. I think that's fine actually. And as the map pools change, these talents could definitely see more use. Yeah. But as it stands, they typically aren't, a common choice.
Eventually we're probably just going to see that one end up only on someone like Gazlo, and then everyone else, it's just a placeholder for currently until they make new talents for them. I mean, that's the only logical reason I see that talent being on across multiple heroes.
Okay. Let's see. Some of these actually have changed in my list a little bit. The next one I have is block, but some people have actually been taking block, or rather have been forced to take block in a few situations, but we'll talk about it anyway.
I've been taking block on ETC.
Yeah. So this is probably since the removal of Path of the Warrior. Yes. Yeah. So I think they've sort of like, you can just take block, right? But how do we feel about block? Does it actually have any impact? Should they tweak it? What do you guys think?
I mean,
Well, first of all,
haven't played
block
it for a while.
is it's 50% reduction for auto
Yeah,
attack
50%
damage for 2
reduction
charges.
from hero basic attacks. Stores up to 2 charges. Recharges really quickly.
Yeah, it recharges quick, and it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's like 100% noticeable, but you can it definitely does have an impact on the game. And I mean, I don't think it's that bad. It's definitely a go-to choice on a few heroes, but I mean, it's definitely getting its use now, and I don't know what they could do to make it better, or if it needs to be changed at all. It's still too early. In my opinion.
I take it sometimes if, especially on ETC, if I'm going against heroes that do a lot of auto attack damage, I guess like the best ones to really kind of point out for that would be like Vala, Zeratul, those kinds, like the bursty kind of auto attacks. Illidan somewhat,
If you
but
see
you
him
know,
at all.
yeah, if you ever see an Illidan. Then again, I normally just laugh at Illidan, so I don't actually ever really have to block anything. So yeah, there's a couple of heroes that you really can take block against. ETC, of course, as I said before, is like the biggest one that I take block for right now. Diablo, there's Soul Feast, which is going to block way more damage just by having more health. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Just
I mean, I don't really know how you would tweak that to make it better, but right now it's like sometimes it's just an option.
Sergeant Hammer, Sergeant Hammer is the big one that I take block against.
Yeah, no, that's good.
That allows you to get in a lot closer and take a lot less damage.
That is a good point. Very good point.
Fun fact, by saying the word Illidan, you actually summon Trickslayer to your
Yeah,
channel.
I noticed that. As soon as you said Illidan, he just comes in and just the hunts.
Community manager that absolutely loves the Illidan, so he hears the word and he's there. He's there at that moment.
Oh, we're not
so
saying he's a
summon
Zeratul main anymore? I'm sad that that's ended.
Damn. Coobs, continue.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Burning Rage. There are some uses for this, but I want to hear what you guys think about.
Do you guys remember that BattleNet post
No,
about the Muradin who got thrown into Mercs and like tried throwing a fit about that? You guys remember that? That was the very first BattleNet post. That was like, wow. Yeah, because his Burning Rage aggroed Mercs and he died because of it. Like, anytime anyone says Burning Rage, it's immediately what I think of, and I can't take the talent seriously.
So Burning Rages deals 10 damage plus 2 per level to enemies nearby within a certain radius around the hero. And I've been told, and I was probably being trolled at the time, that sometimes if the other team is running the double stealth combination, that it can be useful in a few situations to just like uncloak them without having to waste an ability on them. Other than that, it's pretty bad, and it's not seen too often. So what should we do?
You know, Burning Rage, based on that logic, would be good for clearing up creep tumors as well.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I never even considered grabbing that. I mean, you're sacrificing a talent for additional AOE around you, which I don't know how it scales. I'd have to do the math.
It's poorly. It scales really poorly.
It's pretty low. Yeah.
I mean, to put this into perspective, Burning Rage is at the same level as Rewind for Muradin, which just got moved, obviously, in the last couple of patches. Rewind on Muradin is absolutely amazing. If you haven't played Muradin lately, play Muradin, use Rewind.
Muradin's so awesome.
On Tyrael, it's the same level as Imposing Will, Cast Aside, and Angelic Might. Yeah, okay. Let me know when you take that.
There.
Tyrael is so good with Burning Rage.
Diablo doesn't even get it. I mean, I can't even remember who else. Oh, Gazlo. Yeah, Gazlo gets it. Shut up. If you take it on Gazlo, leave the game. Uninstall, as I tell Coobie all the time. I mean, who are you going to take? Who are you going to take Burning Rage on? Does Sonya get it? No, Sonya doesn't even get it.
What's like, really jumping to mind would be Arthas. I don't even think he has it, but it's like...
Uther gets it. Uther gets it, which is at the same talent as Sprint, Rewind, and Shrink Ray. So Burning Rage might be good if it was like a level 1 talent.
That was my next question for you guys. How would you feel about that?
Still
if they moved it up. Still bad. Still terrible.
It's just the definition of a placeholder talent.
Yeah.
They wanted to make room. They didn't want it to look so small at that level, so Burning Rage was thrown there. I mean, like Jake said, there are a few uses. Like, you could do creep tumors, like, I guess, if you really needed to. But
if you're real worried about that creep spell that expires on its own, grab Burning Rage. And the problem with that, again, is a lot of Zagars use the creep tumors more as wards rather than just, like, inherent creep spread. So, there's so many abilities that you can use, like, to get rid of it. Like, most of the time, creep tumors just get hit by AoE on accident. It's even if you're like going out of your way to like position them so they're out of the way, they're still just gonna get blown up.
A major problem I see with it is a lot of the heroes that have it, they don't have things that can really lock someone down in place. Like Murden, yeah, he can jump in, he can do a little bit of a slow, but then people get away from him.
Right. Yeah, true.
So especially, well, if you don't have rewind, that's true. I mean, I've been playing Murden a lot lately, and I actually played him in a recent scrim, and with rewind, oh my god. I have a video I can show you later on that just, like, I have, like, this one play. The only play that I've ever made this entire freaking weekend. It was, like, my 5 seconds of glory. But it was, like, basically rewind Murden on crack, and I just, like... You just stun. Oh, rewind. Stun.
I love that song.
Great song.
It's a great one. It's from the 90s. By Scatman John.
Classic reference.
That's the only time that, like, no, I can't ever think of, like,
placeholder.
No, sorry. Here's what my point was going to be. I've been rambling. Sorry, I have a migraine today. Is the fact that to have Burning Rage and use it to uncloak people, which would be the only real use for it right now, it doesn't really do a ton of damage, is to really, like, be next to somebody. And since all heroes move at the same speed, you'd have to have a move speed buff to, like, move your hero, like, you know, as soon as somebody sees you have Burning Rage and they're cloaked, they just run the other way, right? They run away from you. And you'd have to be able to catch up to them to uncloak them without using any of your AoE talents. I mean, it just...
You know what? Actually, it wouldn't be that bad on Stitches. I know it's crazy to say this, but if you had Tenderizer, Hook, and Gorge, and if the damage applied while using Gorge,
that would be so sick. Like you're boiling them inside of them.
Yeah,
oh,
right. That would be pretty
coolest.
cool. That's the only hero I can think of that might be fun on. I don't even think he has it. No,
and that would just be fun. It would not be good. It would just be cool because they're cooking inside of Stitches.
Right.
Yeah,
and you have the Chef Stitches skin on. Oh.
The layers, they just keep adding up. It's too good.
There's the layers.
Classic. All right. So pretty bad. What's just numbers buff? What do you guys think?
I think if it was on level 1, like, I really think that a lot of the generic talents would be pretty cool if they were on level 1. And move like the other ones. Like, I think level 1 would be a really cool place to have, like, a lot of these talents.
Either a slight range or damage buff, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jake?
One of the two. Not both, not combined, but one of the two.
I mean, it's I can't speak super well because I haven't played with it much at all. It's just one of those things I've avoided.
Most people haven't.
I've just avoided using it because I hate the idea of it. Maybe if they made it something more like it does more damage, but it's an activate. You activate it and it does a good amount of damage around you for a period of time. You know, it'd be reworking it and make it more like as you jump in as Murd and you pop that on and you're just doing a lot of damage around you. That'd be cool. But as it stands, it's just really not worth anyone's time.
Sorry. Okay. Fair enough. All right, let's see. Next one. Ice Block. There's one real good situation for this, but for the most part, doesn't see too much use. So Ice Block is invincible and immobile for 3 seconds. You activate it.
It's a very good talent to have in the game because it's like it adds a bunch of strategy. Like, oh, if I have this strategy, if I have Ice Block versus like a Gazlo team, where you want to immune his combo, like if they're like doing a crazy combo where like they're pulling you in, and then you want to avoid a lot of burst damage. I mean, it's not something you would take every game, but it definitely has a place strategically because it can be used to counter a lot of things. So I don't think it's bad, but
fun thing I just found out about is that you can Ice Block while Malf has his healing ult up. And you still get the aura. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. So it's like you just cast it up, and then if people start to turn on you, just Ice Block, and then people still get the heal around you. That's really neat.
Cool. Ice Block is very good. It's just you can't take it all night, like every situation.
Yeah.
There are a lot of times where I do take Ice Block, and it works perfectly. It's just
Again, I mean, it's on the same tier as Sprint for a lot of heroes. So I feel like Sprint, for the most part, is better talent because it's like an engaging or disengaging tool, positioning tool. Sprint is pretty versatile. Ice Block is just kind of, I'm not where I'm supposed to be, which I mean, that's an acceptable situation. Like somebody's gonna leap on you like a barb or something. But
there was the Tyrael barb combo where if you see Tyrael's ulting on you, you Ice Block to counter that. Like it's not something that it's cool that they're willing to add talents that are counter to this or way to deal with this. It doesn't have to be good in every. Yes, Sprint is better in most situations, but Ice Block is definitely has its uses, and I don't think it should be tweaked at all because of that. Not every talent has to be top tier, but it's an option to counter things. I like that.
It is, and Nick brings up a really good point, is that it's really good for dive burst comps that have bar material. I mean,
that's what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's
I think Ice Block is fine. So is Sprint. Both talents that are just neutral, and I think they don't need to be changed, honestly.
All right, next one. First aid. First aid. 35% HP over 6 seconds is inactivatable. I don't know what the cooldown is for it off the top of my head.
I think I'll stick in first aid. Sorry.
I think it's all.
Early game, when the game first came out, before I even really played much, I was like, "That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna take that all the time." But with the healing wells, why bother? Not worth it. I mean, it's just
not my day.
I don't know.
Corey knows those quotes. I used to say that all the time. Not my day, but yeah, it's just it's. I don't know. There's so many, like, you're gonna have a healer on your team on your team. It's so easy to get your health back in this game with other talents. Like, it's an underwhelming talent to grab.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think the biggest problem with first aid is it runs into the same issue as a lot of other of these generic talents, is that there's so much more crucial stuff that's out there on the same level. Like Tychus. I mean, if I'm going for Tychus build, even if I'm going grenade or auto attack Tychus build, first aid is on the same level as rapid fire and quarterback.
And you can't give either of those up.
On Illidan it's okay, I guess, if you're like, I need to stay alive as long as possible. But even then, there's a couple of really useful talents on that same level.
Hammer has it, I think.
Hammer has it, which
has it.
Hover siege mode or fortified position. Yeah. And then the obvious number one choice, which is hypercooling engines.
Yeah. But first aid.
I mean,
obviously trumps all of those.
I took the first aid version on Zagara, but that's because it was 25% HP and not some little tickle heal. So, I mean...
Well, how do you guys feel if it was instantaneous health back?
OP?
It's too OP.
Yeah, that would be OP.
So there'd be some balance we had to strike between 6 seconds and instantaneous.
Yeah, placeholder talent, it's gone soon. Once they actually start working on talents hardcore.
See,
I would agree.
The thing is that I find first aid is an interesting thing because they put it on assassins. Now, if they put it on somebody like a tank or somebody,
well, then they would have to scale up the healing a lot.
Yeah, or somebody like a support, I would find it a lot more attractive because I'd be like, well, I want to heal other people. I don't want to have to heal myself. I'll get first aid. Or I'm a tank. I don't want everybody to have to spend all their heals on me because I'm in the middle of a team fight. I can get first aid.
I think,
but the fact that they put it on all the assassins, I mean, it's a good idea, I guess, because you think that you want to not have to worry about healing your assassins, but I don't know. I feel like it'd be better on other classes other than just assassins.
First aid was probably added to the game in the pre-tech alpha when there was only like 30 people in Blizzard playing it at a time, where you weren't guaranteed to have one support and you needed to heal. I think that's the only reason first aid would ever have been implemented, because it's just not that good, especially in like when you're almost guaranteed to always have at least one support. Like, it's not that good now.
Yeah.
Okay. So some kind of numbers tweak, perhaps, to see it, but you guys are feeling it's
I think it's a little bit more diverse.
Dumpster.
Just dumpster it. Don't even tweak it. It's useless. Just scrap the idea. Give us something new.
Okay. All right. Next one is, where is it? Relentless. What is Relentless? First of all, quiz time.
It's 50% reduction on crowd controls, roots, stuns, snares.
Wow. Wait, you're reading it?
Kev's reading.
Are you reading it, Kev?
Yeah, there's no way.
Swear to God. Swear to God.
That's why you lean forward at your monitor.
Yeah, he did it.
No, I swear to God, I have it.
Okay.
Look right now at my screen.
Did he say?
Haven't heard a single type.
So brave.
Did he read it off in perfect order? Was that the order they were listed in?
Like, you want to look at my tabs? You want to look at my tabs? How about my tabs, huh? Nothing. Nothing's open. It's off the top of my head. This is where all it is.
What's the order? What's the order of the 3 words?
Roots, stuns, and snares?
No, it's silence and stuns, slows and roots.
Silence, stuns, and snares.
God, you don't know anything.
No, it never says snares, Kev. Gosh, learn your talents, noob.
See? I just know these things.
Okay. All right. You know what?
Just kick it off my head. You know
I'm
what
moderately
saying?
impressed,
No
but I'll be
disrespect.
more impressed if you give me a good answer. So go ahead. Tell me about this talent.
I actually kind of like it on Diablo quite a bit. One of the biggest problems that I ever run into with Diablo is that I get into the middle of a team and I get stunned, snared, rooted, silenced, whatever the hell the order is. And it's actually normally a toss up between in my Diablo builds of whether or not I take Spell Shield or Relentless. If they have heroes like a Nova or a couple of other things. I take Spell Shield, but if they have like a lot of CC, like an Uther, Barb, a couple, other like hard CCs, I take Relentless. It's really useful, and actually, I don't know how many times it's happened, but I've actually been able to break out and shadow charge an ETC during his dance like once or twice. I don't know if it's like a glitch that happens with lag or something like that. But it's only when I take Relentless.
It's possible that ETC's dance is like applying you a 2-second stun that like refreshes.
I think it is, yeah.
And if that's the case, then there would be gaps in it, which would be really good.
I'm not sure. It's happened before, and I think it's only because of like lag or like a weird hiccup or something like that that's happened. But I'll just sit there, and as soon as if I have Relentless, I will sit there and just spam Q on that.
maybe
see what happens.
Yeah.
It's a good talent. It's it's one of those situational ones where you can choose this as an option. If like they have a bunch, like if you're against a Malfurion and an Uther and like a few other CCs, then that's not a bad choice. That's really good talent. But I don't think it needs to be changed at all. It's just kind of one of those situational ones like Ice Block.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah, some of these are definitely going to be just left in the situational bin, sometimes used in specific comps, and that's fine. It's okay.
But really, the only situations that I really take it's on a couple of heroes. Maybe take it on Stitches. I haven't played Stitches enough.
What else does he have on that team?
About it.
That's Helping Hand, Sprint.
Helping Hand, Sprint.
You really need
Mega
Sprint.
Smash.
Yeah,
And
giving up Sprint.
Sprint is really good for Stitches, but if you're getting CC'd a lot, locked down, you might want to get Relentless. But for the most part, it's really on Diablo that I take it.
I can also see it being good on ETC as well. Ones that have a very strong and important like interrupt where you need to like suddenly get out and then help your team peel or something. That's situations where I can see it being good on.
Okay.
All right. I think I had one. This one is not on the list because it was recently added. I'm gonna guess it's called Drone or Scouting Drone or something like that. Yeah, Scouting Drone is the name of it. So it was kind of messed around with. I saw some people taking it initially, and I never see it anymore.
I still take it sometimes on Mouth.
Make it invincible to mercenaries so that they can tank mercenaries forever.
Oh yeah, that glitch.
Oh wait, they did that.
About that.
Yeah, I was trying.
Yeah, they fixed it.
I forgot about that glitch. That was a neat one. For those of you guys who don't know, you could put the drone exactly in the middle of a night camp, and then in this case it was Tychus was just able to continuously hit the knights, and they would try to retarget onto the drone but couldn't hit it. Really weird stuff.
Even if they had like giants or knights pushing your lane, you could put it off to the side and they would go chase after it, and the giants would just keep throwing rocks at it and just never actually push the lane. It was like really stupid.
A weird little bug for sure.
Yeah.
But so you guys take it sometimes? Don't think it needs.
I take it on Mouth over 50% of the time. I take it on Mouth. It's
Okay.
good talent. It's one of those. We don't have wards in the game, so anytime you can get extra vision, it's nice. And Mouth's tier 1 talents. They're okay. They're not the best. Depends on what you're going for, but. I like it. It doesn't need to be changed, in my opinion. I think you should be able to buy skins for it, and that would be really cool. But
That's an interesting idea.
Blizzard, take our money, please.
Yeah.
Take our gold sink.
think if you could get a pylon skin and just throw a pylon randomly someplace.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Do you guys think it needs more HP? Because right now it's just one hit. And
Yeah,
maybe,
I think it definitely needs more HP.
2 to 3 hits or whatever, however they want to do it.
I think 3 hits would be pretty decent.
Yeah, make it
kinda
like a
chests,
chest. Yeah.
Okay.
Or it needs multiple hits.
I don't know where I sit with it. I've seen it used a couple of times really nicely, like on Garden of Terror. On Garden of Terror, I've actually seen it nicely used a couple of times. But yeah, I haven't really seen it used too much, especially in the past couple of games of competitive play. I haven't really seen it.
Nova and Zeratul aren't like the most picked heroes right now, but it's also very good versus them because the stealth detection.
Yeah.
So it's got a place. and you know, I like it. It doesn't need to be changed right now. Like maybe putting more health, but then even then, I think it might be broken.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a 60-second cooldown, and its purpose is just to give you vision, so like you know when you're getting ganked. So, I mean, even if they kill it in one hit, you know you're getting ganked, and then if you as long as it doesn't get killed right when you throw it down, the cooldown's going to be up soon. It's only 60 seconds. Like I don't have a problem with it being a one hit, personally.
Okay. All right, guys. Well done. Good job. You guys all pass.
Coobys Questions!
Thanks, Jared. You always make my day with that.
Hype, man. Gotta hype it.
I just want to see the star behind us, like of the galaxy, just collapse, and then it turns into a giant disco ball, and then it just shoots out lasers and everything, and that's how Coobys Question gets started.
I'll ping our designer to get that done.
Work your magic.
It's like a giant galaxy.
Sam 2 has requested this.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
So that's all I
cool.
got. That's all I got. What's next?
Well,
Break.
I think that's the cue for a quick commercial break so we can set up our interview with Ace of Spades. He is a new player on My Insanity. Boom. Interview with Ace of Spades. Coming up next, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back with Town Hall episode number 26. What is up, guys? We potentially have Ace of Spades here. His video is giving us a little spinny dial, but I think we have him. Can you hear us, Ace?
Sure can. Maybe you can try to restart the call. I don't know why it's not working now.
Yeah, why don't you kill your webcam and start it up again?
Yeah.
We'll see if that works. If not, you'll just be a spinning logo of death, but
I'm sure I can fix it.
The Hearthstone waiting for authentication curse right there.
It's become it's actually like a thing on the subreddit now. You can
really
make that your flair on Reddit for Hearthstone, which I thought was hilarious. But
Can you see me now?
it's not loading for whatever reason. There we go. We got you.
Okay.
You are in the darkness.
Excellent. It's very late over there.
It's 4 a.m. here. Yes.
Oh man, 4 a.m. That is rough. So Ace, you are actually now on My Insanity. For anyone that doesn't know you,
Yes.
you're on My Insanity. You are part of Versafear, which is the new competitive website for Heroes of the Storm, and you're a pro player. So why don't you tell us a little bit about like yourself and just a brief introduction, your history of gaming.
I think I started gaming during World of Warcraft season. It was season 8 or 9, I think. I was one of the top 30 in the world. It was 2.9k on Rampage, playing Arena. Then I moved to play on Guild Wars 2, where I played for Curse and Eclipse. Then I played for a little while on on Hearthstone. I won a couple of tournaments. I played for a team called the Titan, and now I'm playing Gears of the Storm.
Awesome. Well, that's quite a history. So you Blizzard games, you've kind of always leaned towards Blizzard games. It sounds like.
Yeah, I kind of was born on Blizzard games. Yes.
Blizzard games rock, man. No doubt.
They definitely do. So tell me a little bit about My Insanity. Now, if anyone that doesn't know, My Insanity is an esports organization that is involved in many games, from StarCraft 2 to other MOBAs as well. You know, it's kind of a big deal, right? To be picked up like a team like that. What does it mean to you to be picked up by My Insanity?
Well, most teams that are looking for a sponsor are looking for a way to get to BlizzCon, basically. So, My Insanity is a well-known team by Blizzard. They have a bunch of players going to BlizzCon, so, and they showed the interest in us. They didn't ask to sign any contract yet, so we are kind of free to do what we want yet, while we are still supported by them. So, it seems pretty cool people.
So does this mean that we should expect you to see you guys at the BlizzCon tournament, or is that just what you guys are hoping for?
That's our hope, but there is nothing sure yet.
So what kind of stuff are they providing for you now, or if you don't mind me asking, like are they helping you out with like training regiments? Are they helping you out with resources? What are you getting out of this deal so far?
Well, of course, we have access to the gaming house that none of us are interested at the moment because of real life stuff. They help us with gear and to promote our stream. They gave us some cool contacts with some people that are helping us working, like Calder, for example. He's gonna help us build our league, where he's gonna cast our matches. So it's gonna help us a big time.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Mind Sandy is actually pretty big, yeah, especially in the StarCraft scene. They got some like top players like Stardust and Jockshi, and they've been kind of around since the beginning of StarCraft 2. So they're one of the bigger organizations out there, and it's really cool to see them going into Heroes because it's actually a really big deal, especially this early.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really great to hear. I mean, it's one of the first teams that we've heard of that have come out, and one of the professional teams that we've seen come out and pick up a team. So congratulations to you guys. That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's really, really good just to see teams in general getting involved in Heroes of the Storm. But let's actually just talk a little bit more about your league. Now, this is kind of one of the bolder things. Like, we've seen other teams pick it up, and now we're seeing, I think we have 3 teams now, and now we have roughly 3 leagues per se. We have ESV Diamond running his thing. We have Versasphere launching just this past week. And Nexus Champ is another group that's trying to put together some content in the future. Now, Versasphere, you guys launched your website, and a lot of people signed up, and it seems to be doing pretty well. Like, so can you tell us some stats based on like what you guys have seen on the website and the league?
Well, we only invited people from a certain chat, competitive chat. So we had like 80 people signing up on the league. It was just an alpha test. We expected to have lots of bugs, but it didn't turn out that way. So we are probably going to launch next week.
Sweet.
The captains of each team are going to be able to queue against themselves in a ranked queue. And so, yeah, it's cool to have a way to see how your team is doing against all the other teams. Because right now you can only scream against them, but there's really no way to check your ratings and see how you fare against them. But we hope that that's going to help them. Yes.
So you guys built software that essentially pulls the MMR from the players that signed up on the website?
Yes, kind of. It's basically it's outside game. We're not pulling the MMR from the game. It's an outside thing. You start at 1.5k and you move from there. So yeah.
So
one of the
let me just link it in the stream so anybody that wants to go to the website to check it out, you can see the top 5. But Kev, finish your thought.
So one of the things that kind of has drawn to my attention, and Saturday we didn't really run into it too much, but we did run into it once. One of the biggest problems with the competitive community right now is that we're kind of relying on queuing into each other. What type of implementation or plans do you have if there are too many people trying to queue at the same time? Like, Saturday was, and this is kind of like a hard question, sorry. But Saturday we kind of got lucky because we only had like 40 to 80 some people trying to queue at one point. But if we were to run into a situation where there's like 200, 300 people trying to queue, and there's like 3 games trying to queue at the same time, like what type of implementation or plans do you have to help, like, because we don't have custom games, we have to queue into each other, and the queues can sometimes take 6 minutes each. What are your plans for that type of situation?
That's a really good question. We can't obviously launch a solo queue like that for the general public. We can't have 2,000 people playing in the league at the moment. What we can have is a team ranked queue where the teams can play against each other. Say, like, if it's only for teams, it's less likely that there's gonna be like any kind of problems. A team can queue, and in seconds you get matched against another team. So it's very hard that you end up playing against someone else. If it happens, you'll just play the game and try again later.
Yeah.
But in the future, when custom games hopefully come back in the game, that's going to be no problem. So we are just waiting for that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's going to make everyone's life a lot easier, especially in the competitive scene. Do you guys plan to do, like you said you guys didn't have Caldor casting, how soon can we expect to see that rolling out, the casts?
I can't talk about all the teams that will participate. For now, it's going to be only for Europe.
Okay.
We kind of want to cover the EU region, since SW Diamond is going to do a great job for the US. We think that, well, the EU scene should have something like that as well. We're gonna have Team Empire, Man Insanity, Vortex and Lucifron, his brother. They have a team. They will participate
Really?
in our invitational, and there's going to be a big team picking up some guys. I can't tell which sponsor it's going to be.
Did you
you'll
say,
have to wait, I guess.
I had no idea Vortex and Lucifron were playing this game.
Yes,
No.
and they're
Oh, I thought you
playing
said their
every
brother.
day.
Okay.
Their brother.
Yeah, they are brothers.
Their brother. I see.
I thought I didn't realize that Vortex and Luceron had a brother who was also into esports and good
That's
at
so
games.
cool.
Like,
What a good family.
that's crazy.
It's
a
super
family,
cool.
yeah.
Like I think the bigger brother, like for many years, was like better than the little one, I guess. But yeah, he ended up beating him in some competition on StarCraft 2. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now they have a team on Heroes of the Storm, and they play a lot every day, 5-6 hours, I guess, and this seems to be
That is
really good
awesome.
now.
That's really
I
cool.
had no clue they were playing Heroes. That makes me so hyped because they were good.
You know,
Lucifron was sick for a long time, and then Vortex came out of nowhere and was also sick for a long time. Like, I'm hyped.
Yeah, you're gonna see them competing in our event.
that's
We're gonna have
crazy.
it's gonna happen in 3 different days. We're gonna have a total of 18 matches. It's gonna be in 3 days. The teams will compete against each other for like no prize at all, only pride and bragging rights. And
Right.
yeah, we're gonna give away some T-shirt and stuff like that to just the people watching it. That's it.
Wow. That's awesome.
I am
That's great to hear.
absurdly hyped right now. Like that's
I
Yeah,
know.
no,
So wait,
no
did you
doubt.
just announce this on our show, or did you have
Yeah,
other
no, I
places?
just announced it on our show. Yes.
Boom!
I talked today with Calder and we said, okay, let's just roll and do like an invitational thing. Yeah.
Wow. So
That's-
that's really big news then. That's
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
awesome.
Shit.
So much is happening.
Yeah.
So much stuff happening. Yeah, it's kind of exciting.
It is exciting. Can we
cool.
talk about the tier list you guys made?
yes. This is a
If you want, it's fresh, new made.
brand new. This is
And-
like published an hour ago. I think it published after the show started, so less than an hour ago. And who'd you talk to on this tier list? Like, who was the council that created this tier list?
It was me, Ragi, and Fabio, Sevkage, Noodles, Azzy Gamer, Hydra, and Shaggy. So
Wow.
we have it
Okay.
all covered up. And CS Steve, of course. CS Steve was of big help.
Oh well, we don't really like CS Steve here, so you shouldn't really mention.
Yeah.
You can see the tier list on the website we linked earlier. I'll go ahead and relink
Yeah.
it, guys.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, can we put out a link and can we like briefly
you
look
can.
over this on the stream and
Sure, it's on the home page.
Yeah,
You
so-
can just.
Versusphere.net, but you can see it right here. This is their website. It has already changed once. You guys had a different look the other day. I see it now. It's exploding with some fire in
oh
the
okay
background. It's,
okay. So hold on
We're
here.
experimenting.
You're putting a whole bunch of space stuff. Now we already started taking over the space stuff, the cosmic stuff. So I see
I'm
you
sorry.
take our stuff now.
Just so you know, we have rights to Space Shark. Don't you dare touch it.
No,
I
we
will
don't.
not do
CST
anything
does.
about that. Okay.
Well, on
Wow.
that note, we looks like you guys have Arthas, Sonia, Uther, Tychus, Vala, Brightwing, Kerrigan, Tassadar, and Stitches in Tier 1.
Yes.
That is completely correct.
Yeah, nothing's jumping out at me as
There's-
strange with that.
Nothing wrong about that. I mean,
I can
One
walk
of the
you
big-
through like if you have any questions on why champion is there instead of somewhere else. Feel free to ask.
Did you make this list with anticipation that the Diablo buff or nerf for the Firestorm?
Not really. In the competitive scene, you
Just
don't
ban.
play either. You
Yeah.
don't play Diablo or you don't play Diablo with that specific talent.
Oh, that's right.
So,
Yeah, that's right. I forgot there was sort of a soft ban on that. That's
Yeah.
a good point. Okay.
and actually, a really interesting thing is the Europeans, the European scene, I should say, really doesn't like Diablo that much. The NA scene, which is really weird that I'm saying region-wise now, but for the most part, like most of the NA teams kind of go for Diablo as a first ban, but most of the European teams kind of don't really like Diablo so much. I mean,
I
it's
think
not.
that-
Yeah, it's not like one of the top tiers for most of the European teams. So I've understood.
The only thing that
We
jumps out
worked-
to me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Ace. Go ahead.
we worked on that together, and it seems like the US scene is also like switching and thinking that Diablo is not that good at the moment. Like we talked just an hour ago with as a gamer now, and they said that they kind of like letting people pick Diablo on purpose, just because they are doing well against it with stuff like Zeratul and using White Praise.
Zeratul's a really good counter to Diablo. So, cool. Wow. Yeah. No. And Tychus is definitely one of the biggest bans that I saw this whole entire weekend when I was playing in any scrimmage. Just like Tychus was normally one of the first bans.
My first question is, we have Vala on the top tier there. Is this with the most recent patch they put live a few hours ago, or does this take into account the changes with Vala? Or have you guys not tested that enough to really know for sure?
No, we haven't tested it for sure. Like, when we did the tier list, we finished it and the patch notes came up, so we kind of didn't have
So that is definitely something that could be subject to change. I mean, it's kind of too early to say, like you said.
I don't think it's gonna change much, but it could be like I didn't think that Rhaegar will be like so bad after the changes of his ultimate, but now he's bad.
Yes.
So it can be the same. There's no way to tell.
Okay.
I don't think so though.
So I've heard that the European scene tends to favor, or at least rank highly, the Sonya Tyrael combo in terms of like the sort of the eraser build. Have you guys been running into any hard counters to this? Do you think it might fall off in a little bit, or?
Yes, okay, I can talk about that. Basically, we're the first team to use that combination, and we kind of worked out a counter to that. I wanted to keep that a little bit secret, but basically, when they pick, we can like let people pick Tyrael and Barb on purpose, and I pick Woofer, and I just cleanse the stun right away.
Ooh,
and
okay.
most of the times, Barba will follow up on nothing. So that's how we counter that.
Wow, that sounds really good.
One of the things that jumps out at me right away is ETC tier 3. I felt like he was getting a lot more play recently, and I mean tier 2 at least, if not tier 1. That's how I personally felt about him. Maybe he's fallen off quite a bit. I don't know, but any specific reason why ETC's tier 3?
That's a good question. He's a good hero, but if enemy team has like any kind of interrupt, like if there is a right wing, you're sure that he's going to interrupt your ultimate.
Yep.
And you have Arthas, that is godlike, Stitches, that is great, and Tyrael. Those are 3 tanks that you can pick over ATC, and they're just much better. They do more damage, and they have more impact in the game, and you don't have to risk everything on your ultimates.
So okay, so this tier list is more of just like a general going into a game and not considering very specific comps and stuff, or what you're going up against. So just kind of like a more generalized.
Picks that are more that people value more when they draft and pick. So it's hard to make really a comp around ATC. You can, but if anyone is gonna like pick something like Titus, which can grenade your ultimate, Rhaegar can work as well. Tyrande, Zeratul, Brightwing, so much stuff that can just interrupt your ultimate. I don't think.
I think a really good point that I'm just noticing right now. If you look at tier 1, there's only 2 characters in tier 1 that don't have a hard interrupt. Sorry, 3 characters out of that whole list that don't have a hard interrupt to knock out ETC from his ult. Right.
I didn't notice that, but yes, like CC,
that's a good point.
It's having CC, like if you have CC, you're strong. Like Kerrigan is so strong because she brings the damage and a lot of CC.
Yep, it's true.
Definitely, like CC is one of the most important things.
Yeah, it's such a team fight oriented game. Like, you know, having the control in the battle ends up meaning a lot. Falstad, you know, I think Falstad's actually an incredible character. A lot of damage. Is this actually ranked? So is he the top of tier 2? Is that the idea here? Or
yes, another smart question.
Basically, cool.
He's basically outclassed by Titus and Valla. Valla does more damage and has better survivability. She can get HP back with lifesteal, and Titus, well, he has Odin. 2 lives bars, and it's just unkillable. There's a lot of damage. I think Falstad would be much better if we could know which map we're going to play. On certain maps, he just shines.
Yeah.
But not on everyone. That's why he's ranked high tier 2.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense. Now, I'm a guy that's been playing a crap ton of Rhaegar.
Knew it was coming.
I absolutely love Rhaegar. We're going to be doing a deep dive on him soon. Why is he so low? I think he's wonderful.
Because he's not good.
I think he's wonderful.
Because he's not good. We recrafted and we figured out the best build and we tested the numbers. He heals for something like 10% more than Ufer. The damage is almost the same, but he doesn't bring any RCC. And Ufer is just a big away ultimate that will stun everybody.
Even with
you're always gonna pick Ufer above Rhaegar, and then there is Brightwing that will heal for more.
Yeah.
And can interrupt many kind of ultimate. If you're a good Brightwing, you can interrupt a Falstad mid casting. You can deny Vala's ultimate. You can make Witch Doctor useless. So
I guess Rhaegar's
that's
basically the support version of ETC. You know, he does things well, but no, you know, he's just other supports do it better.
Yes, exactly.
Why is it Witch Doctor God tier? Come on, man. Witch Doctor #1 in game.
He relies heavily on his ultimate, which can be interrupted by a lot of stuff, and his damage is really good. It was, I think it could have been tier 1 with artifacts. He's squishy.
Way to go, Blizzard.
Like, if you have like Tyrell, having a Witch Doctor can kill your team because it's such an easy target to go for. So that's why, and basically because still Vala and Titus are just better.
Yeah.
Yep, agree completely. This is like a really thorough tier list, and I'm actually very impressed with it.
It's very well thought out. I mean, as sad as I am about Rhaegar, I can't argue. I can't argue it.
Yeah,
and I mean, and I think one of the things that I mean, I know you have the explanation, but I think you should put right underneath this tier list is that these are like right beneath like even the brief one is that this was from these teams that play competitive right now, not just like you know, and I know you can click the explanation and everything, but I know just like if you were to post this on Reddit at all without the explanation, or people won't click the explanation because
well, that's
how Reddit works.
That's Reddit for you.
That's how Reddit works. They need to know that there are a lot of teams that are behind this, not just like one guy. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but early in the alpha, some random guy, not really a random guy, but some people put out tier lists and they didn't make any sense, and so like Reddit kind of, and a lot of people have been really kind of opposed to a lot of tier lists lately.
Yeah.
I like this list.
Yeah, it's a really good list.
Thanks for the advice. Yeah, we are going to have to do that. We just kind of wanted to have this done before Town Hall so that we could show you guys, and it's gonna get fixed that way tomorrow.
You are the
one last thing. Can you explain why Lili's the worst in game? I just want to hear why Lili is the worst.
I can explain. Her heals is so bad. He's like a worse version of Rehgar, which is also like a worse version of everything else.
Oh no!
I love Lili. Like I love Lili. She was one of my main characters. I love the little panda. She's just not good. The numbers are not there. It's about the math behind her. She heals for less on single target than Malfurion with his ultimate up.
And then the interruptible heroic.
It's interruptible. You can.
Yeah, it's interruptible.
It's so
big.
She
has no hard CC.
I can tell you exactly why she's lost. It's because with Rhaegar, you're never gonna have like no healers to pick now. So worst case scenario, you pick Rhaegar now. I remember like before Rhaegar was in the game, sometimes once every 100 a game you would see a Lili, but now if you don't have anything else, you pick Rhaegar.
That's awesome.
Interesting.
Well,
a really thought out answer for, you know, kind of a trolly question.
Yeah.
This is a really good list. I'm very impressed with it. There's like no complaints about it.
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm also impressed with it. Still just, you know, soaking in the sadness of my Rhaegar being as booty as I suspected, but I've been spearheading it, just playing him almost exclusively, and I'm winning most of my games, so I'm happy with that. But you know, any other like things that stand out to you guys? I mean, I was actually pretty surprised to see ETC at the bottom, but like he said, very CCable. He's so reliant on the actual mosh pit. Maybe they could make stage dive more viable to some extent and make the hero better. Some minor tweaks it could make maybe. Murky, no surprise there. Lili, no surprise there.
If you click
Tim was saying Illidan God tier in the chat. Tim lives in his own little world. But
if you click on the tier list explanation, it gives more in-depth detail that Ace was just giving us. So if you guys are curious about why certain heroes are in certain places, just click on that tier list explanation, and you know it's very in-depth.
Yeah.
And for anyone that's listening on the audio VOD, it's Versasphere, VERSASPHERE.net. And you guys can see it all there. And the tier list explanation is on the right. You just click that and it'll bring you to the forum post. We're not going to look at it here on the show right now, but because we could talk about that forever.
Absolutely.
So I see that you guys posted up a Hall of Fame for the alpha tests, and I'm a little upset that you guys only went out to top 5. What's the deal with that? Do you guys know anyone that was in top 10?
I know somebody who was in top 10.
I was in top 10.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't decide on that.
Corey, where'd you place? Corey?
I was ninth. I was ninth.
Oh, nice.
For my one game that I won.
I played 2 games. I lost 1 and I won 1.
Garbage tier.
We tried so hard to make Shinobu lose games, but we just couldn't do it, and ended up winning every single game. Fucking hate that guy.
Real talk. I like it.
And he's in my team.
Man,
Too funny.
I was on his team. He was really well put together, and you know, I tried really hard to use my bad to take him down, but it didn't work. So I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Anyway,
it's okay,
I think it's a really good introduction to Versasphere. Hopefully, we'll be seeing a lot more stuff come out of your website very shortly. I'm interested in playing in the ranked queue and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun.
I had a lot of fun on Saturday. But I think it's time to get into Jake's favorite hero, aka one of the worst heroes in the entire game.
Let's talk about terrible heroes. Oh, I love talking about garbage.
I love the fact. I love the fact that we are just.
I should have put
you know,
tier 1.
I can't tell what's better. I can't tell what would have been better if we went over a deep dive of Rhaegar
and then
found
over
out
him.
that he's the worst, or knowing that he's the worst and then deep diving.
The funny thing is,
second
like,
worst.
as soon as I saw the tier list and I saw where Rhaegar was, I was just waiting for Jake to say. I was just like, he's gonna bring it up. He's gonna bring it up. I know it. I know it.
I was just really sad and like trying to control my emotions, but what can you do? What can you do? Well, on that note, this is our segment we call the Hero Deep Dive, where we jump in and we talk about a hero in full depth. Now, historically, we've always gone over all the talents in each tier, and we've run through the talent options and really just kind of picked one. And Coobie throws up straw polls, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to take a different approach. We're going to try to narrow this segment down because the show just keeps running. We just keep running out of time each week, so really what people want to know is like viable builds, and I'm really excited to see what Ace has to say because you guys said that you guys mapped out an optimal build in Ace of Spades. Can you actually run and grab a talent calculator and make that build for us so we can pull that up in a little bit? Just link that in the Skype chat when you have time, and we'll share that with the stream. But I put together a few builds that I like to play on ladder because I do have my Master Skin with Rhaegar. I play him a lot. He might be booty, but I think he's a lot of fun. I just like the instant cast Ghost Wolf. But on that note, Kev, why don't you read off his abilities for us?
Sure. There we go. Okay. So Rhaegar Earth Fury is from Warcraft franchise. He's the shaman of the Earth and Ring. He was originally going to be Thrall, which is a cool thing, but they decided that it fit better to be somebody like Rhaegar. Yeah, they want to put a little bit more emphasis on Doomhammer, so they made Rhaegar into Rhaegar and not into Thrall. So let's go over his combat trait, which is Ghost Wolf, which takes over his actual mount. Instead of using a mount, Rhaegar transforms into a Ghost Wolf, increasing move speed by 30%. Transformation is instant and can be used while moving. Basic attacks in Ghost Wolf form deal 100% and more damage, but cancel Ghost Wolf. And then he's got his normal 3 abilities, which is Chain Heal, which is on his Q. Has a cooldown of 9 seconds. Heal an ally for 90 plus 28 per level health, and then heal up to 2 other nearby allies for 45 plus 14 per level health each. So obviously half. Lightning Shield is on his W, has a cooldown of 8 seconds. Imbue target ally with lightning, dealing 8 plus 3 per level damage to nearby enemies, and an additional 80 plus 30 per level damage over 5 seconds. 8-second cooldown, and then Earthbind Totem, which is on a 15-second cooldown. Create a totem that slows nearby enemies by 35%. The totem has 75 plus 20 per level health and lasts for 8 seconds. He's got 2 heroic abilities. He's got Bloodlust, which is got on a 120-second cooldown. Give nearby allied heroes 40% attack speed and 30% move speed, lasts for 10 seconds. And Ancestral Healing, it's a heroic ability with 60 seconds cooldown. After a short delay, heals target allied hero for 600 plus 140 per level health. Which is pretty freaking awesome.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy, Rhaegar. You know, he might be booty, but I like him a lot. So, like,
so the obvious thing that I think they were going for here is someone who was really flexible, someone that you could build into a sort of a semi-assassin that also had support traits, and someone that was just raw support. Is that really viable? What are we looking at here?
I mean, he's a pretty good hero, and he's really good at just keeping one target alive with Ancestral Healing, but once it's out, And if you mistime it, that person's dead most of the time, because you want to wait until they're really out of health.
Yeah.
Blood Fury, I feel like Bloodlust could have been an amazing talent to take, or heroic ability. But the problem is that Rhaegar himself is just not... I think good enough support and doesn't really do enough unless you have that heal, that Ancestral Healing, to be able to just save somebody immediately.
My main problem with Rhaegar is one of the things that appealed to me when it first got announced is he looked very much like a Tyrande in the sense that he would be a hybrid where he would do pretty good damage but also be able to support, and all the talents that you can take on him where you actually increase your damage, you become more of a melee guy, it's just really not impactful. Really, I feel the only way to play is true support on him, sometimes mix in the Bloodlust. So personally, I just don't even enjoy playing him. He just, like, when you go his pure... It's not a shot at Jake or anything. Like, when you go pure support... so personally. When you go pure support Rhaegar, he's just like a generic healer. Like, I don't feel like he has a lot... Like, yeah, his Ghost Wolf is really cool, but that's it. So personally, I don't enjoy playing him. As far as his effectiveness, I mean... I don't want to be just... I thought he was okay before I saw the tier list. Now I might poop on him a little bit more than normal, but before the tier list, I thought he was pretty... I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was, absolutely terrible. His ultimate heals for so much.
Heroic.
Heroic, excuse me. It's been a while since I've said ultimate. Wow, that's a mega slip up. But yeah, I mean...
Disgusting.
All right,
that's
Ace,
my thoughts on him.
Let's get Ace's thoughts on this in terms of that build. I think he posted it up. So did we get that into chat?
And we did.
Okay.
I'm busy queuing up a game because I want to run around with Dogeception, I call it, Wolfception. But yeah, here's a look at the build that they put together. This is the build that you guys said is the optimal build based on...
Actually,
okay, go ahead.
there are many builds that you can have, like you can change some talents. This is a build for solo queue and you don't change much if you play for a team, but if you show it, I can tell you what talents I pick and when. So basically now on tier 1 I picked Spirit to Walker Grace because of course mana is a big deal. On certain maps like Dragon Shrine and the Horror Garden map, I don't remember the name, Healing Totem is actually very good because it heals for 2% of the Plant Horror and for 2% of the Dragon Knights, which is a lot. In that case you will totally pick that. At level 4 you can pick Feral Herd, which is gonna make you basically... You will never need to go back in base and you'll be able to roam the lanes more easily. If you play on Blackheart Bay, I will take Farsight all the time because scouting potential. On level 7 you are forced to take the Earth Shield, it's the only viable choice. Level 10 heroic ability, you need to pick Ancestral Healing. Bloodlust, if you do the math, basically your team is going to have to put out a crazy amount of damage just without attacks to compensate for the fact that you don't have that 2.3k healing, which is never gonna happen, and just never gonna happen. On level 13, Feral Lunge, if you don't have that trait, I feel like you lose like half of your DPS. It's very easy with Feral Lunge to go on squishy targets like Vala, for example, and poke them for a good amount of damage. You can save yourself by lounging on enemy creeps, and if you feel like you need more healing, you can take Healing Surge. On level 16, you go for Earth Gasp Totem all the time if you play with a team. My teammate prefers Blood for Blood, but I say that Earth Gasp Totem is the best if you play with a coordinated team. And of course, level 20, you take Farseer Blessing. So that's how I run.
So yeah, that would be my question, and it seems like Chad is also saying the same thing. Do you know why your teammate takes Blood for Blood over Earth Grasp? Because that seems like a very interesting choice.
Yes, he likes to kill people. That's it.
He likes to kill people. That's a really good answer.
Well said.
I mean, Earth Grasp is the one talent that I never mix up on the entire hero. I will never change that one talent. I just get that no matter what, really. Or level 7 as well. Level 7, I always grab the Earth Shield.
Yeah.
But beyond that, I mix up my build constantly based on the matchup. I'm actually very interested to see that. You know, it's really just I haven't played with it a lot. Feral Lunge. I'm actually really excited to try more of it now because I don't play with that a lot. I don't know.
Someone had posted a video a while back so you can like chain the lunges together to leap and cover some quick distance really fast just to secure kills.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty.
I'm not sure if that's I was gonna say I'm not sure if that's intended. I'm not sure if that's something that's really gonna stick around for too long. But
I did practice with that. You can do some crazy things and run miles in lunge. Yeah.
As long as you have a target to hit, yeah.
You can chain endlessly like on 5 targets, yes.
That's pretty cool.
Well, I just want to show off my Dogeception, I like to call it, my dog and a dog, my wolf and a wolf. This is why I love this hero. You can see with his wolf, we didn't show this earlier, but it's actually instant cast. You just gotta wait on the normal mount timer, and it's just an instant cast mount, so... I think
that's definitely the coolest thing about him.
I think that's why I like him so much, just like the freedom, and you don't get knocked out of this form when you get hit and whatnot. So it's just one of the things I really enjoy about Rhaegar as a hero. But
that's awesome. I love Ghost Wolf. It's one of the cool features.
I can see that why he might not be seen as strong. But that being said, I mean, if you had to pick a DPS build, how would you go about? If you had, so in certain compositions, like Bloodlust isn't just a straight DPS upgrade. You have to consider that you get movement speed on your entire party as well. And yeah, you're saying you have to put out like X number of damage to make up for the lack of ancestral healing, but you're also getting the movement speed, which allows you to move into position. Does this have synergy with something like Shadowstalk? Does this have synergy with heroes that can just really get in a position and lock someone down? You can obviously get around people and body block them when you Bloodlust. A lot of times I use Bloodlust more for getting in position and getting around, or even getting away, than I use it for just the flat DPS upgrade. So I definitely think it has its place.
It has a place, but it's kind of underwhelming for an ability. Yeah, I kind of don't feel that repositioning yourself with 30% moving speed is a viable option over the big heal. Without that, you absolutely have nothing. You do no damage and you have no healing power. So I prefer picking Tirandi over Rehgar, and yeah, I reposition with that. If I have
even
to.
Makes sense.
Even in a solo queue situation where it's kind of like, oh, we have too much support and we need damage, that's when you go, okay, you do the damage then, because Rhaegar is not, like, even if you wanted to go damage build, it's just not as effective as almost every other support in the game.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Unfortunately, because I really wanted him to be damaged. Like, I so wanted him to be closer to Tyrande, but it just didn't play out that way.
We tried some builds. Me and Sia Steve were running like Illidan Rhaegar, and it was fun, but like, there's a million better options. Like Hunter's Mark is just immediately more valuable than anything that Rhaegar has. So,
absolutely.
But Rhaegar has a place, and sometimes if the enemy team picks characters like Falstad and maybe Valla, doesn't happen often. But if they go for a squishy comp, there is a technique to beat them easily, which is you basically stack HP, and so instead of picking Malfurion or Tirandi, you can pick Rhaegar, and he has the same HP pool of a tank, and you basically have 5 tanks and they don't have the DPS to kill you, and that's how you can slowly kill them. Kinda lame, but that's one way to use it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. Well, so DPS compositions, we're just gonna rule it like not really something that's incredibly viable. I won't honestly disagree. There's some fun builds if you want to try to play with it. This is honestly, it's, you know, you probably want to grab Feral Lunge in this build, but I'm just gonna throw it on screen. I'll link it in the chat for you. But this is really like, you get the additional 25% in your next 3 attacks. This pairs well with a few heroes like Illidan and stuff. It's just something that's fun to do. It's not necessarily something that's incredibly viable at the top ladder, but you will see success if you're just queuing with a friend online. And again, Feral Heart is amazing for the mana regen and the health regen. You get the Earth Shield, which is kind of a must get. Bloodlust, it's really fun. I would actually grab Feral Lunge based on what I heard. And Earthgrass Totem, I get that no matter what. And you get the Global Bloodlust. When I initially saw that, I just wanted to make a build mainly based on this one talent right here, because you get the full, all your minions, all your mercenaries, but it's a fun build. I'll give you guys a link if you want to try that out. But again, it might not be the most competitively viable build.
I mean, I think if you get the level 20 Bloodlust, I think that'd be really fun to pair up. Like if you're queuing with somebody who's got Merc Lord and you've got a giant Merc push going, and then you queue up the Bloodlust for everything. I think that would be pretty freaking fun.
Yeah.
But so where do you typically, so say a team fight's breaking out, Ace and Rhaegar, what's your positioning with Rhaegar? Where do you keep Rhaegar in the team? Do you put him in the middle? Do you put him in the back or in the front?
Really depends. That's the question. It's so complicated to answer.
Yeah, sure.
If they have like a squishy target like Valla, I will try to poke it with a lunge. He will be like more scared. If you can chunk him, her, sorry, for 30% of her HP, she might be afraid to come into the fight. Generally, like if I don't have Feral Lunge, I try to play and stay on the back lines more often. Yes.
Okay. I was just curious though, because I mean he is a little bit more tanky, I guess, than some of the other supports. So I was curious if you put him in a little bit more in the middle or in the back to hang out. Cool. No, I think it's
yeah, that's the one thing I noticed about Rhaegar is like, when I'm playing Brightwing and when I'm playing Malfurion, I'm actually auto-attacking pretty often because it's range. But even though Rhaegar has a big health pool, like, there's a lot of situations, especially in a 5v5 team fight, where I'm just not going to be in the front lines. I'm not going to be auto-attacking just because that's not where you want to be. You want to be, like, supporting your team, keeping people up, making sure you don't die, because they will focus you down. Even if he has a ton of HP, they're going to go for you. That's at least what I've found playing the character, and I've played quite a bit of Rhaegar.
Mr. Masterskin.
You might have the most. You might have the most games on Rhaegar on like the entire game right now.
I might.
I don't know.
You're silly. You're silly.
Dunk's got a lot of games on Rhaegar.
I wish we could see those stats, honestly, because I play a lot of Rhaegar, but
okay, he's at least top 5. All right.
Yeah, at least top 5. I mean,
top 3 NA.
I don't know what it is. I just absolutely love the idea of the character. I absolutely love the design of the character, and just from aesthetically to just like the way he plays. Even if it isn't the strongest, he's just a lot of fun. But
well, I mean, that's actually kind of a really interesting point that I really want to kind of segue into, which I think works out really well. Is that speaking of just the competitive nature, and there's been a lot of threads that were kind of coming up from CSD and everything about the competitive nature of where a lot of, or a segment of the Heroes of the Storm community is at. And a lot of people are saying like, no, don't bring competitiveness into this, and I don't want to see competitive, and stop trying to force competitive on everything. And Heroes is not going to be like you have to play competitive games, you know? Like it's going to be a free casual game. So if you want to play Rhaegar, go freaking play Rhaegar. Rhaegar's pretty fucking right.
Or you can be like me and you can beat people that are really good at the game with a terrible character and then laugh at them.
Or you can be like Kevin, just play Gazlo randomly and be like, yeah, I'm having fun, but I'm losing.
Damn. So I mean, like you said though, Hearthstone, super casual game, super easy to pick up. It's free to play. yet it has a massive competitive scene. I mean, I was watching Deck Wars. It's a tournament that Machinima pushes out. I watch it almost every day that it's on. 40,000+ people watching it in the middle of the day. Like, that's for a competitive card game. And, you know, it's the most casual game, so Heroes fits in that mark. You can play it in any kind of perspective as you want, but we tend to, here in Town Hall, we tend to focus on the competitive side of things. It's kind of like what we hope to represent.
It's our thing.
Yeah, that's kind of like esports.
We have 2 MLG employees here, guys. I mean, we're kind of 2
MLG employees. We have a guy who goes to Street Fighter tournaments like every day. We have Zoya down here who's been on competitive teams, who's done casting himself. I mean, like we're pretty much going to be a very competitive focused, esports focused.
And don't forget our pro player down there.
And our pro player down here. We're going to have a lot of pro players, you know, coming in and out. And that's, you know, it's one thing that it's kind of been bugging me a lot lately. And, you know, I don't know if any of these people actually watch our show. But it's like, why bring in competitive? It's like, listen, you didn't even hear about the competitive community until right now. So why is this affecting you? It's not. It's not affecting anybody. Like, if you're playing casually, you're not going to run into us. You don't have to deal with us. League of Legends has a huge casual side. Like, why would you want to, you know, be like, don't bring competitiveness into this? It's like, you didn't even know about us.
And to even go deeper into that with Blizzard notoriously, throughout StarCraft 2, there would be complaints about something in the competitive scene, but they would leave it in because it was beneficial for the casuals.
Right.
You know, they would also balance the game for casual players, even if it affected the competitive scene negatively. So Blizzard's never going to be in a stance where they're, you know, just completely, you know, peeing on the casuals. They're always going to be keeping them almost at the front. That was a bad choice of words.
Peeing on the casuals.
Like, what is Street Fighter crowd over here? Like,
a lot of words went through my head, and that's the first one I could get out by the time.
good choice.
I said it.
Zoya has to urinate. But on that note, actually, let's actually just segue into that and actually just hear Ace. Like, where do you see Heroes of the Storm going as an esport title?
Okay, that's another really good question, guys. So I talked a lot with some people that played. I have 2 pro players that play League of Legends in Season 1 on LoL, and we play a lot, and we are very good friends with Team Empire, and they have some people that played professionally on Dota 2. They're also a great team, and what everybody says and agrees that this game is all about mechanics and team fights. It's a casual game, but there's like nothing other than having perfect mechanics. So this game can totally have like a good competitive scene, and it can be at the core as any other game, in my opinion. And unlike StarCraft 2, where balance is very important, and they have a Blizzard balancing the game for casuals, in this game it doesn't matter, because with 100 heroes in 1 year or 2, you will not have that problem. You will always find like good comps, and yeah. So
absolutely.
Balance doesn't really matter in MOBAs.
Yeah, it's true. There's not 3 races where 1 unit breaks the whole game.
Protoss.
Yes.
Sorry.
Actually, let's. You know, I just saw in the Skype chat you linked your Rhaegar troll build. This
Rhaegar troll build.
This is hilarious. Let's pull it up right here. So you're going with empowering charge.
Nope, you pulled up the wrong. Your browser's on.
Oh my gosh!
On chat.
Whoops.
I don't actually understand
Tech Alpha.
why it's doing that.
Tech Alpha Town Hall.
Tech Alpha Town Hall.
It's XSplit is being very strange tonight. I actually don't know why it's doing that. Nothing. It does not make any sense to me.
Well, we'll link it around, and you know, we can talk about it, or you know, we can link it around and just show people go for that build. Basically, focus around getting empowered attacks, Searing Strike. Was it Bloodlust as well? And then Bloodlust, Stormcaller, and that's pretty much like the biggest points there. And empowering charge. It looks like
it's all around the lounge. So basically, you just do one huge out attack and crit for 1.5k, and then blood for blood, and chase them to death. It's kind of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
It sounds like a lot of fun. Like,
on squishy targets, it's a blast.
I'm definitely going to be playing with that this week.
You can play with my Gazlo. It's going to be great.
Oh god, we'll lose every game.
Wow. All right.
Well,
So
I think that kind of covers Rhaegar pretty well. I mean, it's almost 11 o'clock already. You know, again, like you guys ranked him towards the bottom of the tier list. I think is a ton of fun. So if you guys have not played Rhaegar, don't disregard him. Give him a try, because I think he's the newest hero in the game. I mean, obviously, if Blizz decides that he's too weak, we could see some tweaks there. Maybe we'll see some changes in talents or something. Who knows? But I love playing him either way. And
next time
that's
Ace,
all
we
that
have you
matters,
on,
Jake.
You're definitely going to be on at the start of the show, because this is late for you. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it's about 5 a.m. for you, Ace. So
Next time, the start of the show, he will be our opener, and then
that'll be better. That'll be better for you. So on that note, I think it's we can let you go to bed. Why don't you give some final shout outs and let people know where they can find you on the internet.
I guess in game that will be the best place to find me, or on Versa League.
All right, cool. You want to give
A
some
Twitter?
shout- Yeah, he doesn't have a Twitter. That's why it's not on the screen.
We don't have a Twitter. If you want to say something, you can go on Mindsanity Twitter or
Okay.
Facebook, and that's pretty much it.
Just a pro tip. This is my esports coaching to you. Make a Twitter.
Yeah, we are being forced to do that. We love to do that. Yes. Okay.
he loves Twitter now.
Twitter's your best friend.
I'm a nerd. I hate Facebook. I hate Twitter. So yeah.
Oh, I agree completely, but it is a necessity.
Yeah.
It's cool to hate
It's a necessity.
Facebook, but Twitter is an incredibly essential tool for esports networking. In my
Thank you.
opinion.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, Ace, thanks for coming on, and
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure we'll see you again some other time.
Great guess.
Okay.
It was a
Yes,
blast,
thank you.
man.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Have a good
See
night.
ya.
Take care.
Yeah, I'm going to bed definitely. Good night, guys. I'm so tired. It's 5 a.m. Night.
Good night.
Good night. So let's do we want to go over the Sea of Steve questions, or do you guys want to go to sleep?
It's so late, dude.
Dude.
Let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do it.
do
Let's
it.
go over just a couple. Let's just quickly go over it.
Yeah, we'll do a quick run through. So if you guys are not aware, CA3 posted a honestly
We're bringing on Matt.
massive thread over on Reddit where he asked for feedback from various competitive people. Let me pull it up real quick.
Are we bringing on Matt, or is it just us?
No, it's just us.
I mean, we could have, but we want to keep this short as it is. So, sorry,
I
Matt.
didn't know what we were doing. It was just.
I mean, Matt will be on later. I mean, he's always on our show. So I mean, it was really there was 5 questions that were asked, and pretty much Matt put the question out. Matt, C.S. Steve, put out the question to a lot of the competitive teams, competitive people. Put it out to the town hall people. Only 2 of us answered, because I guess only 2 of us care about the community.
Or we do a podcast about this every week.
Who are those 2 people that care, Kev? I'm just curious.
Damn.
Oh, that would be me and you, Zoya.
Man.
Oh, really? Oh,
We're the only 2 people that
to
care
give you
about
guys
this
some
thing.
insight, we had a bit of an argument that's saying that Corey and I are like, well, we do a show, we talk about this stuff every week, and their argument's like, well, they want to hear our opinions. Well, they'll hear it on the show, we say. So that being said,
that being said,
Distance in
the
show.
first question is draft mode. Why do you feel that draft mode is important to a game like Heroes of the Storm? It is an absolute necessity, or can the competitive scene and the game itself survive purely on blind pick? Now, this is a massive question. This is probably the hardest question on the entire set to answer. And Town Hall, actually, in my answer that I gave Steve, Matt C, Steve, I actually linked a previous Town Hall episode, which had LZ Gamer and Idra on it. And it was a really, really great segment from that, where basically they kind of explained everything. So definitely take the time and look at this question, because it was a really good question to ask, a really good answer. And quite frankly, when I looked at the
responses.
when I looked at the responses, it pretty much, I was just like, yes, this is right. Some people said it wasn't really needed, but I think it definitely is.
Agreed, 100%. They add so much strategy. Just imagine League or Dodo without the bans and picks and stuff. It just becomes so much less entertaining to watch. Just ignoring how much strategy it adds to the teams, it just becomes less
Right.
fun to watch. It's just so cool seeing those bans.
I mean, a really great example was this weekend when we were doing the Versasphere League. Was that we had a 5-minute discussion on how we wanted to ban and pick so that we would be 2 steps ahead and we'd be able to nab Tychus and Falstad was basically like what we were trying to do. So we banned like a kind of good hero, and then we let them ban a hero, and then we're like, haha, now we get the, no, they get the, no, they banned, we banned, then they get first pick, and then we were going to get 2, but then they were 2 steps ahead of us, and they picked another one, and it was like, whoa, we just got like completely moshed in our strategy. And that, like, that would never happen if it was blind pick. It would basically be like, okay, Kerrigan, Uther, you know, all these like top 5 heroes. Okay, yeah, go to the same thing as always. Yeah, okay, guys, that sounds good. And just like kind of go into a match. So there's one thing that I really think is important about these types of things.
And I always like to emphasize, again, our background is crapping itself right now. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but you know, having the draft is such a crucial part of the spectator experience. I mean, it adds such a like
absolutely
amazing like level of depth to the game. Wow, it's just my webcam now. Apparently, I have no idea what's going on next tonight, and I apologize for this. But as a spectator, the whole draft process is like really engaging and really interesting. And we live in, yeah, look at that, so pretty. But Jared died. But,
oh, I'm laughing at chat. Sorry.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That intro quote is always funny.
Why don't you
That's a
read,
great quote. I want
read,
it on like a wallpaper.
Read it for us. Read it for us.
Here's a
Can you?
A lot of people have really stupid thoughts, and other people listen to these thoughts. If they aren't corrected so occasionally, we have to address questions like this and fix the community's stupid thoughts. It's like a public service. Idra, I want this on a wallpaper. And I just want to put this as my wallpaper for everywhere. And then Town Hall Heroes afterwards.
Can we get that put in the header on the Reddit thread? Or on Reddit, just the subreddit? Just put that right in the header? That'd be good. But yeah, no, draft is just like such a crucial part of not only the depth of the game, the creative aspect, or like the competitive aspect to the game, but the spectator experience. Like all around, it's such a interesting thing that makes the game just way more exciting. Like it's not even like involved in the actual match itself, but it adds so much because like it gives you that storyline. Oh well, this, you know, Sham 2 is known for his Diablo, but he got picked out of Diablo. Like, you know, could that have turned the match? Yada yada yada. I mean, I always think of that guy Froggen in his Anivia. He's always known for it. That's the extent of my League of Legends knowledge right there. But did I get it right?
Oh, you were correct.
I got it right.
For like a season and a half ago, you were correct. Yes.
So I love the idea of having that, and I love the idea of teams having to react to that, having to react to LZ Gamer's Abathur or Idra's Vala or something like that, and make that a ban because they think the team's going to go for a composition around that. It's just really, really cool element to the game, aside from all these amazing points these guys made in the thread.
Mm-hmm. So that was the first question. The second question was high individual skill combos. The biggest example that we can be used to explain this topic is the Kerrigan combo. It's pretty apparent across other MOBAs that these types of plays are held in high regard, and some people even make a name for themselves doing them. In your opinion, do you think, and it's funny that you just brought up Frog and Nivea, in your opinion, do you think that Blizzard should focus more attention on things like this, and are there any other alternatives to that? And you know, another set of great answers to that. Zoya, go ahead.
I mean, I think my answer, I liked it a lot for this one, was that it's definitely something they should focus on, but having heroes with easier combos to master is great for people who are new to the game. Like this MOBA is so different than any other MOBA out there. It's just completely different. So you have a lot to learn here about the team aspect. And when you pick up someone like Uther, who has a very lower skill ceiling, it allows you to get into the flow of learning how to team fight and learning how to go to these objectives without having to worry too much about a very mechanically based hero. And it's just one step towards becoming a competitive player. And I mean, I definitely want to see more high skill combos for sure, but I don't think it should be their 100% focus. They should keep making these easier heroes, and you know, sometimes their skill in other aspects of the game. But I definitely want to see more of it. It just doesn't have to be their focus.
Yeah, exactly, and I completely agree. I mean, as long as it's not the focus, but you know, as long as people can stand out, because I mean, that's another great story builder for esports is that people can stand out, be like, whoa, this guy just got like the best Kerrigan combo off, or you know, Frog and Nivea just landed his QE combo and then Ice Walled and
Or actually landing a
Ultimate or
Gazlo combo or something like that, you know?
Oh,
you know
man.
what? Yeah, anybody who can actually land a Gazlo combo, they're really good players.
God, it feels so good when you actually do it. I mean, I know you've never felt it, Kev, but it feels amazing. Who was in that 5 specialist game?
It was the 4 of us and your friend, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Stefoon was in there.
Yeah. That was bad.
We did another one with Wax Steven. I think that was 4 specialists in a Lily. That's what it was. I remember getting the sickest Gazlo combo. It felt so good. Kev, I wish I could share this moment with you, but all right, number 3.
So the third question is AoE compositions. The Wombo combo question basically is, these AoE compositions have, shown up a lot, but the question is whether or not they should be emphasized or they should be a combo at all. Whether or not we should take out the AoE compositions where basically Zeratul can lead up with a Void Prison and then there's a whole bunch of AoE spells that go off at once, basically kill an entire team at once. So there's a lot of differing opinions on this one, whether or not people should or shouldn't have it. I find it's okay. I feel like it's a non-issue at this point. That we don't really see Wombo combos that kind of exist too often. Stitches is actually a really great way to break Wombo combo because you can just pick off one of the people who are really important for getting that Wombo combo set up. So, I mean, I think at this point it's kind of a non-issue. We don't really see it too often. But I don't know. Zoya, I think you had one of the quotes that was in there.
Yeah, I mean, like a big part of the Wombo combo is the fact that it's the maps. A lot of these maps have these really tight corners, really cramped like entryways and stuff, where catching someone in a Wombo in those positions is just almost guaranteed. Like basically the entirety of Cursed Hollow is like great for Wombo combos. That map is just a bunch of narrow passageways and stuff. So I mean, the reason that matters around is I want to partially blame on the map. I'm not too upset about it. I mean, they're fun to watch. It's not those Wombo combos aren't the easiest thing to pull off most of the time. That does take skill, does take catching your opponent off guard. So I'm overall okay with it, but I would like to see a little bit more diversity.
As long as counters exist for it. I mean, I think that was one of the major themes that was captured with these responses. As long as there's a counter for it, and it can be exciting, but there needs to be not that being the dominant strategy, and that's something every team is going for. So as long as there's diversity there, I think it should be pretty healthy for the game.
I mean, a lot of the heroes in games have AoEs right now, and there's not that like most of the heroes in game of the small pool we have AoEs. So more times than not right now, just because of the hero pool, you're gonna in the maps you're gonna get the Wombo combo comms, and eventually that'll not happen.
Yeah.
Can't disagree.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about them.
Yeah, it doesn't really make me salty at all. Some people are actually pretty upset about it.
It's not going to go away. I mean, it's always
again.
gonna be
I
vital
think that's another really good one. Like the draft question is a really good one. I think the Wombo combo one is a really good one to read because there's a lot of differing opinions on it.
Absolutely, yeah. That was the one that was more like bouncing around than it was everyone agreeing on the same thing.
Yeah. So the number 4 was split pushing right now. The competitive scene tends to ignore split push compositions. What do you think this is? Why do you think this is? Are 5-man roaming squads potentially too strong? I think this is a game design thing right now. I mean, the current meta, of course, is ever evolving. I mean, the tier list in the past couple of weeks has changed radically that I've seen for the most part. I mean, I could be corrected by somebody who's a little bit more advanced in the competitive scene than I am, but I'm interested to see when we're going to actually start seeing some split pushing. I think it is because LZ put it actually pretty perfectly when we were talking about this at another point, is that basically the tower aggro is not focusing on heroes, so that nobody is able to be somewhere else when there's like, say, 4 or 5 people like pushing one fort, and especially because of how mounts work. As soon as somebody that goes missing that can 1v1 you and you're a split pusher, which most split pushers are not great at 1v1s, except for maybe like maybe Zagara.
Yeah, she's very good at 1v1s.
Yeah, but other than that, there's not many. The issue is that as soon as somebody who can better 1v1 you goes missing, you're like, okay, well, I have to back up. And that could be at any time. And they could be doing anything. And they could be anywhere because of mounts. And basically being able to get anywhere pretty quickly. So split pushing is kind of taking a back seat right now.
It's not only those reasons, but the lack of warding mixed with the long death timers. It's just not worth it at all. The maps are so small that at any moment someone can just appear out of nowhere because of no wards. And if you die, you're in a 1.5 to 2 minute death timer late game. That's not worth it. I mean, the whole game design with the objective-based fighting, the team fighting, and then the Blizzard wanting shorter games, it just kind of pushes you away from split pushing altogether.
It's very true.
There's a multitude of reasons, basically.
Yeah.
That basically
the game's not a split pushing game, you know. It's just maybe one day with different maps or something. Who knows?
Yep.
All right, let's power through this.
Okay, and then the last one is the talent system. Do you guys like the talent system? Is there room for improvement? Are there any specific things you'd like to change in regards to your abilities, etc.? Yes, of course. The talent system's awesome. We all love it. That's basically the reason why we're playing this game.
Yeah.
No.
It's a big part. It's a big draw.
Yeah.
The theory behind talents is really awesome. I mean, just the what Blizzard can do with just the talent system alone, when you think about it, is there's no limit. There's so much customization to the talent system alone that it's awesome. Right now, like we talked about earlier today, there's a bunch of placeholder talents in Coobys Questions that eventually will get seeded out. Once this game is like a year or two through, development,
I mean,
it's going to be
talent
system's going to be perfect.
Even when it's in beta, I think it's going to be a completely different footing. I mean, we saw them try something like artifacts. And artifacts is something that inherently affects talents because they remove stuff like path and those kind of abilities. And then upon removing the artifacts from the game, which was quick and sudden and necessary, they put in new talents. I can't even think of what they're called because I'm having a brain fart. But the new
gathering power.
Yes.
So the drone was one of them. Then they put in the health regen, not the health regen, but the mana regen from the globe.
The globes one, mana one globes. Yeah.
Yep. Conjurer's Pursuit, all those guys. And I think those add a nice little neat thing to the game. Like, I actually really like Conjurer's Pursuit. I love the concept behind it. I love the health globe mechanic that it adds to the game. But again, I think one thing to really emphasize about the talents is like making sure that every hero has multiple viable builds, and reactionary builds based on the other hero is the crucial thing that needs to be achieved with talents. So, I mean, I think they know that better than anyone.
Yeah.
But
right.
We just need to make sure we see more, like with Rhaegar. I definitely mess with his talents a lot. I think there's like a lot of different viable things. Like you can get the 25% additional healing at level 2 when you put the shield on them, then you heal afterwards, or you can get 25% additional healing later in the game with a different talent. Now you can stack that too if you want to have a super uber duper heal, make them feel a bit more like Uther. But again, there's a lot you can play with Uther or Rhaegar rather, and I think. But not necessarily. What I'm trying to say is there might not necessarily be a situation where you have to be able to play the hero in two completely different ways. Just more that different builds are viable. So,
I mean, there are a couple of different ways, and one of the coolest things I think is like Tychus. Tychus is one of those great heroes that you can build kind of three different ways if you really want to. You can go for the auto attack build. You can kind of go with a little bit of the overkill and mobility kind. You can go grenade as well.
Football build.
As long as you get Odin in the end, it doesn't really matter.
Too true.
Odin is very, very good.
I mean, there's just so much cool stuff, like, especially when like new talents and new heroes get introduced. Like, remember Tyrande for the longest time? No one took Shadow Stalk, and then all of a sudden, people realized like several months later, Shell Talk's good, and it just completely upset the meta.
Really good, and it's been changed, and it's still very good.
Mm-hmm. It's better now, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I would agree,
but I mean, there's just like you can it's your way of showing your own personality and being able to be diverse. You can do that through the talent system, and I mean, I think Blizzard struck gold with the talent system. I can't wait to see what it's going to be like in a year, because I already think it's very, very good. Just needs a little bit tweaking here and there.
Yeah. If they didn't have a talent system, if the game had items, I probably wouldn't play it, honestly.
Talents are awesome, man. They are great.
I mean, I think the coolest thing is that a lot of people are like, well, talents just do what items did in other games. And it's like, no, items made your heroes more generic. Like, the thing that I always kind of thought about with items is that, like, I'm not making my hero more diverse or more unique. I'm making my hero more like all the other heroes in this game that just took the same item. Like, if I take Bloodthirster, like, their ADC is going to take Bloodthirster eventually, too, probably. Or, you know, Blade of the Ruined King or something like that. So I just made my ADC more like their ADC, just, you know, we have a couple of different abilities. Talents make your hero even more diverse than everybody else's hero. Yeah. Like, and just like, it's just that level of, you know, uniqueness. And especially once, I hope they make that you have to play different heroes on different teams. Just makes it even more unique. But yeah, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a good point. I didn't think of that, because doesn't, like, even if you're completely different, like, say in League of Legends, you could be on Malfurion and then you can be on Uther, but in most situations you'd build very similar items. But in Heroes, their talents are completely different.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's a good point, Kevin. That just kind of like makes the talent system seem even cooler. It's just completely unique to that hero specifically, and then you can make it unique to yourself as well. It's just it's got so much depth to it. It's awesome.
And just one thing I want to point out, in the last dev insight they did at Blizzard, they said if there's any talents that just feel like, why would I ever get this, they're working on removing those and replacing them with something that seems more meaningful. So I think it's still something they're definitely tweaking, and like you said, eventually it's going to be ridiculously glorious. I mean, it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah. Blizzard's awesome. They did good.
Blizzard's awesome.
Okay. That's it. That's all the questions.
Okay, good, because I've yawned like 30 times.
Let's go to your shout-outs.
I'm so tired.
It's been a late show. Let's start from the right. Jared, you said you're tired.
Yeah, follow me at IBD Zoya. I will be tweeting a lot soon about Heroes-related things, and you can follow the team, IBD Gaming. They are also interested in Heroes of the Storm. Nothing has been decided yet, but we will be diving into the scene pretty hard in the next few months.
Are you going to be deep diving into the scene?
Don't
say it. That's ours, okay? I told them no, they don't get the deep dive. That's us.
You know where the name Deep Dive comes from? I stole that from Blizzard. They did the thing called the Heroes Deep Dive at BlizzCon, and I loved it.
So. Really? Oh.
Well, great.
Sorry,
now
Blizzard.
we're going to get 100
Sorry,
billion
Blizzard.
things.
I'll be casting Diamonds League. I think the first day is August 25th. Yes. I will be casting with Caldor that day. I will potentially also be casting the Wednesday with Idra. That's kind of up in the air right now. He is confirmed casting Wednesday. I don't know if I'm actually doing it yet. It's still like there, but keep an eye out for that. I'm super excited for that. And yeah, good episode. I really liked Ace of Spades. Thanks to him for coming on. I hope we get him on again in the future because he was cool.
Shout outs to everyone at Versasphere in general.
Yeah, definitely.
The system was
and that tier list, man, that tier list was really good. I'm like, that's the first tier list I've looked at in a long time that I haven't been like, ugh.
All right, Kev, I see you're rocking out right now. What's going on, or not what's going on? Just give your shout outs.
Shout out to Motorhead and Lemmy Killmeister for the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades! I just put the straw poll in the chat for like the 5th time this show.
Gazlo.
Shut up.
We're just going to keep refreshing it.
Free week
for Gazlo.
Is going to be recorded tomorrow, right after I get out of work, as it is every week. And so just do me the favor. Vote for who you want to see this week on Free Week. I'm going to be playing Gazlo all night tonight, apparently.
I would also be okay with worst hero in the game, Lily. You know, that would also be fun to watch him play.
No votes for Diablo.
If somebody... yeah, right? If somebody buys me Big Top Gazlo, then I'll play Big Top Gazlo for tomorrow. So just going to throw that out there.
If you buy me the skin, I'll play Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin.
He's going to buy Big Top Gazlo
anyway.
Can you even do that?
I'll take a picture of me with a really deep V-neck. There we go.
I'll do it. I'll buy it.
Anyway,
you can't actually gift skins.
Yeah. Hey, so that's going to be on youtube.com/shamtoo, SCHAMTOO. Do me the favor and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/shamtoo, SCHAMTOO yet again. And I'm going to hand it over to Coobie.
So follow me at Omega Black Mage, and guess what, guys? I've started
What?
streaming. I've started streaming
I saw that, dude.
Twitch TV / Omega Black Mage. So I should be on the next couple of days. I'll be
I
streaming.
can't believe Omega
How much
Black
more?
Mage wasn't taken. How'd you get that?
I know, it's crazy. Also, me and Jake did some recording, some duo cast on the ladder, so that'll be fun. We'll be putting together a video for that soon. That was a bunch of fun, and there will be some casting stuff down the line too. Keep your eyes peeled for that. That's it for me.
Yeah, like Corey said, we started our new show. We're calling it Duo Q. I know it's hyper creative, the coolest thing you've ever heard of.
Placeholder name, probably.
I don't know. I think it's simple and straightforward. But yeah, we both recorded our perspectives, and I'm going to splice together the 2 video feeds into one based on where each of us are talking, because we're dual casting a game while we play it together on ladder. Just kind of something to give you guys an idea if you have one friend that has Heroes of the Storm and you guys want to play together, like what are 2 heroes you can run in a composition together with. It's kind of the core idea for the game. So it's a lot of fun because we can't really cast the game. We're both really anxious to cast the game. So keep your eye out for that. I'm doing another new show. I won't release the name. That one is a interview series where it's just going to be, there's so many people to interview and we can't get them all on Town Hall. So I'm teaming up with CSD and we're going to do a weekly show. It might be more than a weekly. We're going to be interviewing people that are involved in the community, people that are either players or personalities. You might even see us interview Sham too about things just outside of what we can fit in here at Town Hall, because we try to keep it to 2 hours here. We're at 2.5 hours almost already for today. I can't even talk, you know, so that's another thing to see on the horizon. And of course, I do single cast as well on youtube.com/solidjakegg. You can follow my stream. MLG.tv/SolidJake. They just tested a new chat system on MLG TV today, and it's actually ridiculously good. I'm very impressed. So expect to see more on MLG TV for Heroes in general in the near future. Massive shout out to MLG Rab, Christian Martinez for our new show assets. Yes. The show looks amazing. There are some things to fix. I mean, we learned a lot with day one. We saw our background was kind of disobedient. We will fix that for the future shows. You know, snazzy it up a little bit. If you guys have any feedback, any things you guys think you would like to see us change a little bit about the way we present the show or any of the segments, please let us know. You can follow our Twitter at Town Hall Heroes. You can send us an email at it's still townhallalliance@gmail.com for now. We'll probably get that fixed in the near future. Yeah, I know you didn't, because you were playing Heroes by the time I got home from work. But anyways,
okay, every day. That
does it for Town Hall episode number 26. Thanks again, everyone on the show. Thanks again to Ace of Spades for coming on. Make sure you guys check out versusfear.net, heroesnexus.com. There's nexuschamp.com. There's a bunch of websites popping up in ESPN.
Heroes Fire.
Heroes Fire. There's a lot of community websites /r/Heroes of the Storm. I'm sure you guys have been there. And Team Liquid is where ESV is hosting all of his content. So I'm sure Team Liquid, we can see more. Townhall.wordpress.com. All the community sites. Support everyone. Support our community. And take care.